The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on their light. Up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What is up, YouTube? Dolly back in the house. Okay, if you haven't yet, make sure you leave your DNA all over that like button, just in case you go missing in Tennessee or deep in the woods of Nova Scotia. I'm going to need it to find you. So, we're getting close to hitting 61,000 people. So if you ain't subbed up yet, sub up, ring the bell for notifications. Tonight, we are talking about some of the huge clues in the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case. Okay? You guys give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay, I'm back with you. So we're going to be talking about the pink blanket tonight and those two sweaters that Daniel happened to mention. Okay, but let me give my warnings first. Dolly Visions for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. It's just my opinion. People, I see 70.2K, says Tiffany Lee. Yes, we're really close. Well, 800 people away from 71,000. So if you ain't subbed up yet, sub up, ring the bell for notifications. So don't take nothing here as fact. Completely satire. Just my opinion, people. Also, the callers' opinions are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on the Dolly. And everyone is innocent to proving guilty in a court of law. That means Daniel, Malaya, whatever family member crawls out of the woodwork tonight. It seems like somebody's always calling in with something. So Their opinions are theirs and theirs alone. Also, don't try to be Dolly at home. It is dangerous. I know you live Tennessee. What? Oh, I know you're live. Tennessee. Okay, Tiffany, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. So, we're going on exactly at midnight. Dolly, where are the babies? That's what we're talking about. So, tonight at midnight makes it officially 2 months that Jack and Lily Sullivan have been gone without a trace. Without a trace. Nobody has seen nothing. Nobody has heard nothing. There was one sighting reported, and that was allegedly somebody seen the kids getting their hair cut in New York, which hasn't panned out to turn in to anything whatsoever. Okay. So basically, 2 months in, we got absolutely nothing. The RCMP have absolutely nothing that we know of. Still steadily investigating this case. And 2 months in, the RCMP has not cleared the mother or the stepfather of wrongdoing in the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Now, like I said, we know they've searched the woods thoroughly. Miles and miles of wooded area around the house on Gearlock Road. Turned up nothing, not a speck of evidence. But there was one clue that the RCMP didn't tell us about. Okay? And this is what was allegedly found by Malaya's family, a pink blanket. Okay? A piece of a pink blanket was in a tree. Okay? Sounds a little crazy. How did the pink blanket get into the tree? Now, according to Daniel, this blanket was ripped and he threw this blanket away in the trash a week prior to Jack and Lily going missing. Now, when they were searching the woods, they found a piece of that ripped blanket in a tree. Now, it was alleged that maybe a bear had got into the trash and tore the trash up. But when we heard the video last night of Daniel's cousin, Logan, and Malaya's friend arguing on a live stream, she said that all the trash was in the trash and the lid was on the trash. So if something didn't tear that trash up and put that blanket into a tree, how did that blanket get from there and hung up on a tree somewhere in the woods? Now, is it possible that somebody was looking for something to wrap these kids up in? Now, this is just a Dolly theory. Okay, just a theory. Because blankets don't magically end up out of the trash and end up in a tree down the road from your house, especially when there's 2 missing kids involved. And something that was really triggering to me is when Daniel actually came into the room and he said, you know, Malaya didn't want anything. She didn't even take her own stuff, but she happened to take the 2 sweaters. Okay, 2 sweaters that belonged to Daniel, and he was worried if the kids were found, they would be found with these sweaters. Congrats, Dolly, on the 70K. Thank you there, Cupcake. Thank you. Thank you guys that super chatted. If I missed it, you know, I was coming in. I had to take care of some stuff right as the show was starting, so sorry about that. So if I missed your super chat, thank you guys, and welcome aboard the Dolly train. And of course, if you enjoyed the show, guys, make sure you drop a super chat. That helps us pay the bills around here. Dolly got to eat. Okay. Dolly got to eat too. So make sure you tip your entertainer if you're enjoying what I bring you. Okay. If not, you can just say F me. Okay. F that dude. It ain't a big deal. So, you know, these 2 sweaters come up missing. And when Daniel said that, I don't know about you guys, but it gave me the chills. It was something kind of Like, wow, why would she not take her stuff? She left all her stuff behind, but takes these 2 sweaters that are missing along with the kids. Okay. Now we got Daniel blaming Malaya, and we got Malaya blaming Daniel. We heard Malaya say, he don't care. He ain't out looking for my kids, which is strange hearing coming from a mother that ain't looking for anything. Okay. Now, according to the timeline, it is alleged that they put these kids to bed around 8 o'clock Thursday night. So we have no proof of life from Thursday afternoon all the way until Friday morning when they was not in school. But we hear that they're asleep, and then they wake up and the kids were gone. At first, original story we hear. Then we hear they woke up, then they fell back asleep, and then when they woke up again, the kids were gone. Definitely inconsistent statements. And then, of course, Daniel came out through his messenger and was saying there's things in the timeline that wasn't right, and he wished he could say more. And eventually that Malaya is going to crack and tell where these kids are at. Me, myself, I think something transpired in that house Thursday night, and by Saturday morning, by Friday morning, Friday morning, when she reported these kids not going to school, she never checked on the kids. So at 6 a.m, she gets up and hits up the school and says, hey, Jack and Lily is not going to be there. But she never checks on Jack and Lily to see if Lily is still sick, if Jack needs a diaper change, anything. Now, they didn't get up to cook him breakfast, no things like this. And they don't really discuss those details much. And Malaya, of course, don't discuss anything because basically she ran off, lawyered up instantly, and hasn't said anything to the media, right? But she has been out living her best life at the beach. Okay. We've seen Malaya at the beach, and a lot of people are completely disgusted because they believe if you can take a day to go hang out with your friends and go hang out at the beach, that you could have took that day to search for your missing kid or to bring some type of awareness to your kids. And as soon as her kids go missing, of course, she don't post my kids are missing, help me find my kids, I love my babies, anything like that. She gets on her Facebook and she basically puts up there that she's single and she is ready to mingle. Now, when are the RCMP going to do their damn job? So they're going to basically let these people at this point, well, up until this point, get away with criminal child neglect, not watching the kids, not checking on the kids. I just don't buy their whole story. Now, over the last, 2 weeks, we've had Darwood O'Grady, come up here. We've had Daniel come in the room. Everybody kind of pointing the finger at Malaya. Last night, we had Jordan call in. Jordan is the son of Darwood O'Grady. So we had Darwood Jr. call in last night. And apparently, Darwood got in the room acting up, saying a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and he got himself timed out last night. So to my mods, listen, we don't show favoritism here. We don't care who you are. If you're Daniel, if you're Darwood, if you're Malaya, if you're the RCMP, you come in here acting crazy, saying shady shit, you're going to get timed out. You're going to get set in a corner, and you're going to get that ass smacked. Okay? Be good when you come into my chat room. I don't care who you are, right? So, we've seen people pushing these narratives, and in the beginning, everybody was completely against Malaya and Daniel. Believed that they both had something to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. And I still believe that. It's hard for me to believe that Daniel has no knowledge of what transpired if Malaya, that's what we should call her, Malaya, because she'd be lying. Well, she can't really lie because she ain't said nothing. But somebody has hid these kids. And there's a couple items missing. There's a half of a pink blanket, over half of a pink blanket still missing. Where's that other part of the blanket? If that whole blanket was thrown in the trash and half of it was found in a tree, where's the rest of that blanket? Okay, because it never got to the dump. Also, where are those 2 sweaters, and why would Malaya have took the 2 sweaters? To me, it completely sounds like these kids have been wrapped up. The rest was in the trash. No, they didn't say the rest of the blanket was in the trash. He said he threw the blanket away and it was in the trash. Then they found half of it in a tree. Now, they never said the other half was still in the trash. Okay, so that blanket is missing along with 2 sweaters. Now, it's awful funny. There's 2 kids missing and there's 2 sweaters missing. Why would Daniel have said something like that? To say the blanket was planted, but why? To make them look in the woods? You believe? I see people saying the blanket was planted. You think that was because they said that the kids may have ran off into the woods and they wanted the police to investigate the woods? Because instantly they tried to take the blame off themselves with that very scripted story they told in the beginning, that the kids were autistic, right? They've never been diagnosed with autism. Okay. Is it possible that the kids do have or autistic? It's possible, but just right at this present time, they were undiagnosed. Okay. So is it something where they started saying, well, they'll talk to anybody, they're special needs. They'll get in a car with anybody. It was instantly to just try to take the blame off themselves. Let's not think it's a setup or they both knew, in my opinion. I'm almost positive in my mind that there's no way something like this could happen in my house. Let's just say PJ right now try to unalive the dogs and get rid of the dogs. There's no way she's going to be able to do that without me hearing it. And I live in a house. Okay, they live in a trailer where the walls are thin as rice paper. Okay, anybody ever lived in a trailer in here? I have. I stayed in a trailer for a short time while a house was being built, and you could hear everything in there. Someone in hiding. Okay, that's a crazy name. Okay, that is a crazy name right there. Because a lot of people believe these kids are in hiding. And it blows my mind that so many people believe this, because they didn't hide. You own 2 trailers. Well, if you own a trailer or you've been in a trailer or lived in a trailer, you can hear everything in a trailer. If you move in one room, you can feel it in the other room. Okay. Because usually most trailers are on cinder blocks. Okay. They're not even really, most of them are not even on solid foundations. If they are, they're usually modular homes when they have a solid foundation. When they sitting on bricks or blocks, then it's more of a trailer with skirting. But a lot of people, some people, they do put trailers on solid foundations, with brick all the way around it. They're a little more sturdy. But for most part, if you live in a trailer that's got a skirting, it's usually on a bunch of different cinder blocks. And when somebody moves in one room, the whole damn trailer shakes, or you'll be able to hear everything in it. You can hear everything for sure. Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. You can whisper and somebody hear it in another room. So there's no way somebody could do something like this and get out this house without, hearing it. Now, the biological grandmother did say that the back door was quiet, but that's probably the only thing quiet in that house. Even in my house, there's some creaky floors in different spots that you can step on that you actually hear, like when you're walking, and plus I got hardwood floors, so you hear kind of a lot of the steps and stuff like that in my house. So I just have a hard time believing that something could transpire in that house and both of them not know about it. right? It seems like they keep weird hours of sleep, like they're up all night. And what reason, if they YouTubers, okay, I can understand me being up late. I stream late at night. Because I'm usually kind of busy in the day. So at night I stream. So I sleep in. Right. But then again, I don't have any kids. And when you have kids, you can't be staying up all night, sleeping all day, and letting these kids defend for themselves. Right. They never got up. And, like I said, they never said anything about got them up, gave them breakfast, anything. Or most likely checked on them. Now, and then, of course, once Daniel told the story a few times, he started to say Lily came into the room. Multiple times, Lily came in the room and he could hear Jack in the kitchen. Okay, but he never goes and checks on Jack, which to me don't make much sense. He says that he took off and ran out in the woods for 30 seconds and he immediately jumped in the car and went looking for him. He was off on the four-wheeler looking for him. I just don't believe what he's saying. Even though he's passed this lie detector test, I don't have much faith in these lie detector tests. But I think some of the huge clues that stuck out to me were definitely the very first story Malaya told about these kids. We talked to it. Yes. And it is alleged that she may have called her mother before she even called 911 because the mother lives a little ways away and she got there around the same time the police did. So it's alleged that she may have called her mother first, okay, and then called 911. So, and according to Daniel, she had, thank you, Shauna, for joining. She asked what she should do when the kids were missing. Should I call the police? Now, it sounds like from 8 to 10, they don't know what happened, according to them. They don't know what happened, but from 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning, that's a lot of time to get those kids out of a 5-mile radius. Now, we know when you go missing, they usually search a 5-mile radius for you. Okay, that's generally what they do. Search parties, they search the perimeter and they go out in a 5-mile circle completely around the house. And those kids wasn't inside that radius. Now, something that's a huge flag to me is, they said soon as they stopped hearing the kids, they called the police, okay, and started searching. So that wouldn't have gave the kids a big jump. Total Cutie's been a member for 29 months. Thank you so much, Total Cutie. It wouldn't have gave the kids a big head start. So, if the kids, soon as it would have got about dark time, them kids would have got scared and started crying, screaming, and somebody would have heard them, right? But there was nothing. No sounds of kids, no evidence of kids, nothing. So, and the odds of a kidnapper being out in the middle of nowhere, right? Because, there ain't but so many houses around. Unless somebody knew those kids were there, there's just the chances of, of somebody kidnapping these kids is very slim. So if the kids didn't go into the woods and the kids wasn't kidnapped, and listen, I'm not believing nothing Daniel's saying or Durwood. I'm taking that stuff and going and throwing it right out the window, right? The kids are not on their reservation. There was no reason for Malaya to hide the kids. If she was going to hide kids from Daniel, she would have hid Meadow. Okay? She would have hid Meadow. And right now, we know she's accusing Daniel of some type of abuse because that's the reason they wouldn't let Daniel, he had to have supervised visitations to see Meadow. Now, we hear people say how good of a person that Daniel is, right? We heard Jordan call in last night and say, he's a good guy. I said, well, would he protect you? And Jordan said, yes, he would protect you. Definitely. He's a good guy. Would he protect Malaya? No. Well, then that don't sound right. If he'll protect you, but won't protect his baby mama, Sounds a little fishy to me, right? Because I do believe Daniel's protecting Malaya. That's why he tells two different stories. He tells one story to the media, and then he tells another story to us here on YouTube. If he believed these things, that the kids are alive, the kids are on a reservation, why is he not screaming that on Canadian news? Because he knows it's bullshit. He knows it's bullshit. So he ain't giving that information to the news. He's not on the news saying Malaya's going to break. She knows what happened to these kids. But he's on messages saying that, right? That she'll, even like he came in here and said the reason she left is because she knew he would know. $150,000 reward, 3 weeks. These kids are not on a reservation, trust me. That is right. Because the majority of the reservation are not wealthy people. The majority of reservations is very low income. Okay. Some of these reservations, some of them are doing good, but some of them are struggling. And $150,000 in a rural area is just like $500,000 where I'm at. Okay. It is a lot of money, and nobody has said nothing, seen nothing. Not one rumor from the reservations that the kids may be on a reservation. RCMP can go right onto the reservations and check, right? And I don't think there's no chief or no committee of natives that's going to allow to bring that type of heat or trouble to the reservation. Okay? Now, I just don't think that. And then, Malaya's out living her best life. One, either way you look at it, if the kids are on a reservation, she lied to authorities. She's a criminal. Okay. She should be in jail for lying to authorities. She should be in jail for criminal child neglect and possibly the deaths of these kids. Because I hate to tell you guys, statistically, in my years of true crime, these last 4 years, tell me that these kids are not alive. Okay. And what did we just go through here last year with Sebastian Rogers? A lot of people were saying they hid Sebastian Rogers. What are we going on now? 2 years of Sebastian Rogers being missing and nothing. Okay. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They didn't hide Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers ain't with us anymore. And we got people still out here to this minute, today. I was watching people still push the narrative of dog in that intelligence agency that have no effing clue. I caught myself. I was about to drop that F-bomb. No effing clue to what they're talking about. Okay, people will get up on the internet and just say any damn thing. I still see channels out here, and let me tell you, I ain't here to talk bad about channel, but some of these channels are just absolutely trash. There's no way, and I mean no way, people can be that stupid. Okay, listen, I'm an idiot. I mean an idiot, and I ain't that stupid to believe this whole dog the bounty hunter and this intelligence agency shit. If you were that stupid, okay, if you're really that stupid, you do not need to be in true crime whatsoever. Like, turn in your true crime wannabe sleuth badge, your armchair detective badge. Give all that up because you have failed and you have failed yourself. So anybody that's out here still pushing that narrative that they're pushing, you are worse than an idiot. Okay, you are below idiot, below stupid, and you just a clown. Okay, bring in the cotton candy because you are full. That reward is not $500,000. There's a $50,000 reward for Sebastian Rogers. People damn still talking about the green hoodie person. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It just boggles my mind. And please, guys, if you're watching me, do not believe any of that shit. TikTok Tony went ghost, right? But these channels still pushing this, right? Because they have nothing else, right? They built their channels around a bunch of lies and fraud and a LARP, okay? Live action role play. These people are frauds that have been bringing this information to you guys. People out here that are washed up celebrities that wanted a book deal, right? That was trying to promote a book and use the back of a missing child, a special needs missing child, to promote their damn book. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. And I watched the same person cry today on a video talking about his bird died. Tweety died. I love my bird. Karma is a bitch. Okay, karma, listen, when you put bad into this world, bad's going to come back for you. Just because you like, aloha, bro, don't mean karma's going to skip you. Okay, it don't mean karma's going to skip you. You're out here doing bad in this world, and then you're over there praising Jesus while you do it. Okay, I don't get it. I just do not get how you go from being somebody that has a lot of respect, you know, where people respect what you're doing, they're fans of you, to a modern day grifter. All right, an old ass 70-year-old grifter. Someone's bird died. Yeah, okay. Let's just say there's only a couple dogs out there, and it won't DMX. Okay, it wasn't DMX, right? There's only one other bounty hunter, right? His bird died. I guess he loved his bird. He was on a video crying. But here's the thing: is you promoted your book off the back of a missing kid that's possibly dead, that you didn't know his name, you didn't know his father's name, and then you got this agency that's the dude that runs it has been convicted of fraud. But we got YouTubers out here still pushing their narrative, right? Dog didn't even know his names, right? I know it was disgraceful, if nothing else, completely disgraceful. And I tell you this, if I ever run across Dog, oh, you can believe I'm going to say something to him about it. I'm definitely going to say something to him about it, because, you know, I just can't believe people still believe it. And there's multiple videos of the same people that were pushing it way back that are still pushing this whole narrative. I don't get it. Where's Dog been? Not looking for missing kids. He's been at every autograph signing that'll pay him, but he ain't been looking for these missing kids like they're making it out to be. That's just not true. Not that I've seen, in my opinion, right? I ain't seen them do shit that they promised that they would have this wrapped up and blah, 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 blah. But people still, you know, they still believe it. I've seen people being like, yay, Dog's still involved. When was he ever involved? When did he become involved? Last thing I seen him on was the news trying to sell a book and didn't know the kid's name. Right? Just weird stuff, you know, like, would he have been doing this stuff if Beth was alive? I think not. But that's just a different story. So just like in that story, people, weirdos, came out of woodwork. Okay? Weirdos. I'm talking about people that just got out of federal prison for fraud, talking about, yeah, we're going to track Sebastian down. Like, bitch, you need to find your probation office first, right? Before you start worrying about some kids. And remember the same thing in Brian Laundrie. He did the same thing. He came out and was like, yeah, Brian Laundrie's in Mexico and I'm going to track him down. He was dead in the park. Okay. He had unlived himself and was dead, and Dog's searching Mexico for him, right? Searching Mexico. He's in Mexico. It's just a joke. It's like, you know, you're trying to bring attention to yourself so bad that you're dishonoring your legacy that you built of good stuff, right? Because I believe Dog did some good. He did good catching all those fugitives. Big fan of Dogs. I was so disappointed to see this whole thing and him go along with it. Remember, they were trying to sue everybody, and then they ended up getting sued. They had to pay. Like, and people still are running with their stories right to this minute. So to me, your channels are shitty and garbage. And yeah, I said it. Okay. Be mad at me, hate me, get in line behind all the other people that hate me. We don't got room for frauds in this missing kid stuff. Right? We just don't. This ain't the place. You can go fraud some other shit anywhere on YouTube, and it might not be that big of a deal. But not here. Not where we deal with such things that are so sensitive as missing kids. If you are, at least do some research and know the kids' names. Okay? I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. What's up, Radical Rose? Good to see you. 100% Dolly. It's pretty disgraceful. And for these channels that are still doing it, shame on you. If I got any of my viewers and y'all watch that stuff, delete them. Leave them shitty comments, right? That's because, is that helping bring Sebastian back? No. Not one of these people have ever been out there looking for Sebastian. But you know who has? Me. Okay, me. And I'm the one telling you, hey, don't believe these people. They're not boots on the ground. They ain't even got boots. They ain't even in the state. And if they are in the state, they're there to sign autographs. Not look for a missing kid. And people bought into that shit so bad. So bad. It just blows my mind. And it's just like the Durwood. People bought into every bit of what he said, was sucking it up like it was the best thing on the internet. Now, I could have rode off of that for months, but I'm not going running a bunch of bullshit that I do not believe. I completely don't believe it, and I'm running a narrative I don't believe. I believe that we got a couple people that need to be in jail, and those couple people are Daniel and Malaya, and they need to be in jail until these kids are found. They know what happened. All right. If the kids ain't been kidnapped and the kids didn't run away, then this is solely lies on the parents. And when is the RCMP going to do their job and arrest these people and put the pressure on them to get them to talk? Right now, you already got them with lying to law enforcement. You already got them with criminal child neglect. I mean, that's enough to put you in prison right there. So why ain't they doing anything? And for my Canadian viewers, we got to put the pressure on the RCMP. You know, when they start to get pressured, they like to make threats themselves, right? They like to make threats. Oh, well, if you threaten anybody or you do this or that, you're going to get arrested. Well, nobody's threatening. Putting pressure on somebody isn't illegal because we want answers. We're not going to let these kids get swept under the rug. You're going to have to do your job. You're going to have to answer to the people because the people want answers. I know my Canadian viewers want answers. Us here in America, we want answers for you. We got your back, okay? There ain't many times you're going to have Americans going to have your back, but we got your back on Jack and Lily, okay? Because we want answers just as bad as you do. We make a big deal here in the States about missing kids. I don't know how big of a deal it is in Canada because people have told me that, you know, it don't even make a lot of national news there. It makes the local news there where they went missing in the surrounding province. Is that what it is? Province? Around there, but not everywhere around Canada. And at 2 months, the kids could be anywhere. But are they? I think not. And I don't think the police believe that the kids wandered out of that house. I just don't think they have anything because this happened in a rural area where there's no eyewitnesses. There's really no physical evidence because we don't know where this crime has actually transpired. Or if there was evidence, then these children wasn't let's just say, bloody. There wasn't what appeared to be a crime scene. Just because they don't look like there's a crime scene, don't mean there ain't a crime scene. There's a lot of ways you can die where there's no blood or no bodily fluid involved. Okay. And it wouldn't be the first time that a parent has done something like this to their children. And one of the callers last night said something that I was like, it made me think, and I was thinking about this all day today. That were these kids medicated? Lily was sick, allegedly sick. That's why she stayed out of school. Is there a possibility that the parents over medicated these children and something happened? Now, I was thinking to myself when I was thinking about that, I was like, well, if you over medicate them, you may over medicate one child, but what's the chances of you over medicating both children and it unaliving both children? Yes, to keep them sleeping, right? I would think the odds of that are slim, right? That you're going to accidentally over medicate two children and unalive them, right? Possibly one. A lot of people believe this in the Sebastian Rogers case too. A lot of people believe that Sebastian Rogers was medicated. Katie over medicated him and then, of course, disposed of his remains. So when I was thinking about that, and this one, I was like, that's possible, but with two kids, highly unlikely, right? But then again, what's the odds of two kids just vanishing? Not if you use adult Benadryl. I mean, I don't know what they could have possibly given these kids, what type of medicine they could have given, if it's just sleeping medicine, over the counter stuff, or whatever it may be. But something happened. Something definitely happened. We know that. We don't know exactly what led to this, but we do know that there was a disconnect between Malaya and those kids, according to Daniel. But then again, what if Daniel's lying? Right? Because she blames him. What if, she is really scared of him and he's done something and she's not saying nothing? But that still don't explain her not talking, her lawyering up. So to me, I believe they're both in this together, that they both had parts in whatever is occurring, and they know, right? It just seems really odd. And the whole, the blanket in the tree, the two sweaters missing, and Daniel saying, I believe when they find Lily and Jack that them sweaters are going to be there. That don't sound good. Okay. Just reporting. If outside report.
Outside reporting not done. Would LJ just be forgotten by our CMP? A question.
I think so. Just reporting. I think quickly these kids could be forgotten about if nobody don't keep the pressure on the RCMP. Listen, even in America, kids will get forgotten here if people don't keep the pressure on them. Now, listen, people like in the Sebastian Rogers stuff, they're saying a bunch of idiot stuff, like you're just dumb as a rock. But it still keeps Sebastian's name out there a little bit, right? It keeps his name out there a little bit. But the people that are talking about him have no clue to what the hell they're talking about. But I look at the good and the bad in things. Yes, you're an idiot. But the good part of it is the name is still out there a little bit. And because, quickly will the police move on? Because especially in the States, there's a lot of crime here in the States. Kids go missing every day. And so they have to move on. And budgets, they only have so much money that they can put into one case before financially they got to cut back. And that was the case in Sebastian Rogers and the searches. When they did that second search, I knew it was over. Just like when they did the second search here in Jack and Lily, I knew it was over. As far as big searching. Now, pinpointed searches, like if we get a clue, we go out and look a little bit. they may still do that. Okay. But far as big aerial searches and stuff like that with helicopters, and the fuel for them helicopters are expensive. So they're spending lots of money when they got helicopters and stuff like them drone pilots and everybody, it gets expensive. And I can guarantee they done spent in the millions looking for Jack and Lily. They said already 10,000 man hours. And most of those people are police officers and first responders. And those people are getting paid. So, they, like I said, the police department have budgets and they can't spend their whole budget looking for one missing kid.
I pray Jack and Lily are found soon. Praying gesture emoji. Praying gesture emoji.
JoJo777, I pray to God that they are found too. But the bad thing is this: if they are found, it's going to be a sad day on YouTube. I know everybody thinks it's going to be a glorious day. It's not. Because a lot of times when people are found in true crime, it's not good. Caitlin Harp, she was found. We ain't celebrating that, are we? Her funeral's in a couple days. They're burying her in just a few days in Pennsylvania. I seen her sister's post today, and it was sad, pretty heartbreaking. A lot of people are devastated by it. And her husband killed her allegedly. And her body was down at the bottom of a ravine. And it's just sad because, yeah, we can find you, but finding you alive and finding you deceased, it's a different vibe. That is for sure. And there's nobody, these kids, I don't believe to be alive. I don't want to, be doom and gloom here, but I got to be honest with you, and just my opinion. But we'll take a little vote tonight. Guys, I'm going to need you to like this video first, okay? I don't know how many likes we got, but I would say there's 1,600 people in the room. I'm going to go with 800 likes on this video. Mods, let me know how many likes we got, because usually half of you don't like the video. I don't know why. If you ain't going to like it, why watch, right? Why even watch? Somebody let me know how many likes we got on this video. 664. Damn, I gave y'all too much credit tonight, right? I said 800. I said 800. I was close. So real quick, take a second. Let's get those likes up, because it helps get the message out. Yeah, and it helps grows the channel. It helps two ways. It helps grow this channel, and it helps get the message out of these missing kids. So take a second, like the video. And if you're super cool, I mean super cool. Now, if you're a big ass, lame ass person, don't share this video. But if you're super cool, share it on your Facebook. Okay? Their stories are strange, right? Definitely strange. So let's like the video, and then I'm going to take a little poll to see how many of you guys believe these kids are alive. Okay. Now, if you think the kids are not with us, okay, that means they not on this planet anymore. I want you to like the video and press 1, okay? If you think the kids are alive, I want you to press 2 and like the video. But either way, like the video. 1, they're gone. 2, they're still with us, okay? I see some 2s. Some people believe they're still here. You guys are really hopeful, but I see a lot of 1s. Okay, Kelly believes they're still here. Okay, 2s. I'm seeing some 2s. So people are buying into that whole Indian reservation thing still. God, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you. Now, don't think because I agree. I think it's 1. I want your honest opinion. Okay, 2. I like, Brenda Davis, 2. Okay, Nancy. Okay, 3. Joyce don't know. Okay.
Jack were handed off to someone Malay knew. Otherwise, Lily would have woke up the countryside screaming.
She probably did wake up because, listen, I don't think none of the people were asleep. I think everybody at that house knows what happened. But I can understand your wishful thinking, right? But there's no reason to hide those kids. There's none, you know? And let me ask you this. How many months have to go past before you people believe that the kids are on an Indian reservation? How many months have to pass before you realize these children are dead? That's just an honest question. If we're here 6 months from now, will you still be saying these kids are alive? Just curious. Yes, no? That's a yes, no question. If we're here 6 months from now, will your answer still be these kids are alive? 800 likes. Yes, no. Okay. No. Looking good. Yes. No. Right. No. 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 Okay. So y'all have a time limit, it seems like, on how long.
We can certainly start that $2 stream all aboard.
SKH. We can certainly start that $2 train all aboard. There was a lot of people on the train last night on that $2 train. Y'all all jumped in on that. That's a really good way to support the channel. You know, a little bit goes a long ways. You know, $2 here, $2 there. It eventually adds up to Dolly gets to eat. Okay. And I ate some grilled tacos tonight. So thank y'all for everybody that jumped on the Dolly train last night. Them grilled tacos were delicious. Okay. So all aboard the Blessed Express. You ain't blessed unless you own the Express. So it looks like you guys believe there's a time limit. If the kids ain't found in a certain amount of time, then they're not with us anymore. But y'all want to give it a little more time in hopes that these kids are alive. Okay. So I don't know how y'all can believe Daniel, and I don't know how y'all can believe Durwood. I just don't know. I just don't know how y'all can do it. I mean, I'm not mad at you because you're entitled to your opinions, right? Because I don't want to run an echo chamber here. Breezy just jumped on the train. All aboard. So let me share this screen so it reads out the comments as they come in real fast. Hold on.
Their channel, unfortunately, I believe they're in heaven. Emo humble opinion.
All right. Hey, Jimmy son, this is Johnny. This is my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I believe they're in heaven, in my humble opinion. Sweep the leg, Johnny. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. Damn, $20. You must be doing good down there, Johnny. Johnny's sitting first class tonight. Teresa's on the train. She says choo choo. Valerie just jumped on the train. All right. And Teresa, she can get her a window seat. What is that? Deanal? I don't know. I can't even see it. Thank you. Jump on the train. So anyway, like I said, Daniel, how many people believe Daniel lied in the beginning? Okay. Here, this is a good question. If you believe Daniel lied in the beginning, press 1. Okay. Press 1 if you believe Daniel lied in the very beginning. The first interviews with Daniel and Malaya, do you believe they were a lie? Okay. This is a good question. Okay. Everyone is lying. JoJo, right? Okay. So everybody believes he was lying. Okay. Everybody seems to believe that, which I believe too. I believe he's lying. Well, why do y'all believe him when they say the kids are on an Indian reservation? I mean, if he's going to lie to the police and he's going to lie to the media and he's going to lie to us, what makes you think he is telling the truth now?
M&M and soda money.
M&M and soda money. I think it's drug related, in my opinion. Lisa, you know, I don't know.
I think it's drug related, Emo.
I think it could be something. Something's going on. You know, one of these that the people are throwing out there that the kids may.
Get on the Blessed Express. Steam locomotive emoji.
There you go. Thank you. Forget me not. Get on the Blessed Express. So somebody's right. These kids may have got into some drugs. These kids could have been over drugged. Maybe they owed some drug dealers. Maybe they sold the kids for food like Nirvana. And something is going on. But this whole they own an Indian, Malaya handing them off. She gave them to somebody. So everybody's believing Daniel now, but didn't believe him in the beginning. That's what I'm saying. Most of the people that said they think these kids are alive also just said Daniel lied. Okay? Why? Why would he lie? Ask yourself that question. Why would Malaya lie? Why would Daniel lie? You know why they lie? To cover up a crime. That's why they lie. It ain't a crime to hide your kids. You can hide your kids all you want. You can play hide and go. You can go right now to your kids and play hide and go seek. Guess what? You ain't going to jail. You ain't. You can hide them in the clothes hamper. You can hide them in the closet. You can hide them at your friend's house. Express. And you ain't going to jail. As soon as you lie to the police, you going to jail. Choo choo. Thank you.
Choo choo. Red heart emoji.
Thank you, Robin. And thank you, Witchy Mom. Okay, Coffee and Crime. So there's no reason to hide the kids. There's no reason to lie. And if you're gonna lie, then you're a liar. If I can't believe what you said in the beginning, I can't believe nothing you say whatsoever. So at this point, everything Daniel says to me is just him perpetuating a lie. Right? What he wake up and go, well, you know what? I want to tell the truth today. Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm some dumb, not plumb dumb. I don't buy none of that shit. Okay. I don't buy none of it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that don't. And that's why everybody turned on Durwood. They're like, listen, dude, you out here pushing a false narrative. And even though he believes it, I truly believe Durwood does believe what he's saying. It's just not true.
Running the food car on the trains.
You on the food car? On the train? Okay. Gunnersville little girl. I can't talk. Gunnersville girl would. Thank you. Thank you. You can be on the food part of the train, I guess. We serving chicken nuggets and honey mustard, I guess. They didn't ask them timeline questions on the lie detector test. It didn't sound like they asked them any baseline questions on the lie detector test. You know, usually they ask you your name, where you were born, things they can go off of, right? To know what you're saying is truthful, and then they'll ask you something that's just ridiculous so they know that you're lying, and then they have that to base it off of. He said the first question they asked him was, did you kill Jack and Lily? And like I said, I put 0, and I mean 0, big huge 0 in any of that lie detector test. My faith in lie detector tests are absolutely none. I don't believe they're accurate at all. I don't believe when somebody's a good liar that you can tell they're lying, or you can hook them to a machine and tell they're lying. None of that. I say, nah, ain't happening. How long they been missing? Right now, they have missing. This is the anniversary, 2-month anniversary of Jack and Lily going missing right now. Because where I'm at is 12:53, so that means it's the 2nd. They went missing May 2nd. Okay, so now we're going 2 months that these babies have been gone, and they've been on a reservation for 2 months. Allegedly. Okay. What is it? The Micmac Reservation? Did I say that right? I don't want to murder the names of the natives over there, but I don't believe it. I don't believe the natives are hiding these kids, that they would want to bring trouble to themselves. 48 rule, Jimmy Son. No, that's not how it said. Okay, well, close enough. I think you get the point. First Nation. How about that? It's been that long? Yes. Yes. May 2nd. The day is July 2nd. Okay. That is 2 months. That is over 60 days. They've been gone. And people still think they're living their best life on a reservation, making bow and arrows and teepees. Okay. Dancing around a campfire. It ain't happening. Okay, what did that say? Question, do they get fines in Canada if kids miss too much school? I don't know. I don't know exactly, you know. But, you know, she called in and said the kids weren't going to be there. So at some point she was awake, you know, but she says she never seen the kids that night. Never seen them. So she didn't know if Lily was sick or nothing. This has got to be the worst mom of 2025. Name a worse mother than her this year. Now, 2024 goes to Katie Proudfoot. She tried to redeem herself there at the end. But name a mother that is worse than Malaya Brooks. Oh, no. No. This mother's way worse than Katie. Katie came out, did interviews. Katie talked to the news more than once. Katie gave a bunch of interviews in the beginning. And she sat right beside Chris Proudfoot while he went on all these other channels too. She was right there with him. Malaya gave one interview and gone. Okay. That's worse than Katie. Katie stuck around for a week before she Joe dirted Sebastian. She was there the first week at the house. Then she left. This woman left her kids day one. Okay, day one. Kids gone. All right, peace, deuces, bitch. I'm out. Okay. That is way worse than Katie Proudfoot. Okay. That she makes Katie Proudfoot look like a good mom. Casey Anthony was a bad one. But I'm talking 2025. I'm talking this year. Who's the worst mom? Leilani Simon, 2024. Leilani Simon was 2023. Okay. Leilani Simon was the worst mother of 2023. 2024, we had in 2022, the worst mother was Candace Bly. Then we had Leilani Simon. Then we had Katie Proudfoot. And then we had Malaya Brooks. Okay. Megan Boswell was pretty bad too, right? She was pretty bad. But, you know, we can't fit them all in there. We can only give the top numbers to one person. So I would say Megan Boswell was pretty bad. I'm not quite sure. I know 2024 was her court. Was it 2024 or was it 25 that she went to court? So she may have did that in 24. I'm not quite sure. What year is Daybell? It's been a few years. I don't know. I don't know exactly what year Lori Daybell was. But she's bad too. You know, the whole running off with the man and killing everybody and killing the kids and thinking they were demons. And yeah, pretty bad mom. Her son is going to be at CrimeCon this year. So, which I'm thinking I'm skipping this year. I was going to go, but I've been really thinking about just saying F it. And cause you know, they don't support what we do here. Why should I support what they're doing? Kind of thing. So I may end up not going to CrimeCon this year. So if y'all are looking forward to meeting me at CrimeCon, I'll do some other type of meet and greet somewhere in the country. On the East Coast though, right? I think more of my viewers are on the East Coast anyway. So I may do something here on the East Coast to meet some of you guys because I'm probably going to skip CrimeCon this year. Okay. Maybe when I go back to Tennessee, I'll do a big meet and greet somewhere in that area, maybe Nashville, or I may do it here in Virginia. I may have an event here and do it here in Virginia somewhere. Come to Ohio, OH. Okay. Where's CrimeCon this year? CrimeCon this year is in Colorado, right? And it looks like it's the same old people that it was in Nashville, and like I said, they don't really support what Dolly does, and so why should I go give them a bunch of money, and I can't really advertise my brand. So to me, it's just a place to promote, promotion opportunity, and like I said, they don't get down with us, so we don't get down with them. All right, let's open the phone lines. Somebody subbed up, helping us hit 71,000. 71,000. Okay, I will open the phone lines.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Gypsy Rose murdered her mama, right? Well, had somebody murder her mama. Okay, now tell me what you think about these blanket being in the tree and these two sweater missing. Is the topic tonight, okay, of the call. And are these kids on an Indian reservation? Native. Indian is from India. Native First Nation, okay? Dolly.
Did they find them kids yet?
No, Doug. It's been 2 months.
2 months. Yeah, I still think they're gone.
I think they're gone too. I think we agree on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, the people in here seem to still think these kids are alive, Doug, and that they can believe Daniel and Durwood.
They ain't nobody gonna pass up no $150,000.
That's what I say. I tell them my granny for $150K.
And then support her while she's in jail.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, them kids, I mean, it's wishful thinking that they went and hit them somewhere, but there was no reason to do that. Them kids, like you said, either got into something or she got upset with them kids. Something happened. Something definitely happened.
When he come off with that down, she stole my sweater. I believe that was a telltale sign.
Yeah, that these kids are wrapped in sweaters somewhere.
Yeah, that she come in and stole my sweaters after that day. Why would you say something like that?
I mean, to cover your tracks, so when they find these kids' bodies and them sweaters are there, they don't blame him.
Yeah.
So
Durwood might have something to do with it too.
Why would he worry about his sweater being there if the kids were alive?
That's right.
I hope they don't find my sweaters when the kids are alive. That wouldn't even make sense. It wouldn't even make sense.
They think I hit them on the reservation.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, he says it's not safe for him to go on the reservation.
Hey, guess what I did?
What'd you do?
I won my golf tournament.
You won your golf tournament? How much money you win? Happy Gilmore.
500.
You won 500.
500.
500. You balling, shot calling.
It cost me $55 and won $500.
Cost you $55 and you won 500.
Yeah.
What are you gonna buy yourself with that 500?
I took my wife out to a big fat steak dinner.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, we did. We went to the Texas Roadhouse.
You went to Texas Roadhouse? Good Lord. You didn't get her a tomahawk steak?
I got her whatever she wanted. But
okay. Girl, you can order.
You
can order right off
the
2 for $20.
No, I got a 22. I ate a big 22-ounce steak. That's what I got.
I haven't eaten no big red meat in a good while. I had to stay away from that stuff. I ate a little steak, like a 6-ounce filet.
That wouldn't even finish my appetite.
I know it makes me hungry, but I gotta stay. I can only eat red meat allegedly once a month, but I've been doing it a little more than once a month. But my doctor says once a month.
I hear you, brother.
All
right, brother. They're gonna put them in jail for long. It won't be long.
I hope you're right, Doug. All right, you be good.
All right, have a good one.
All right, peace.
Happy day.
All right, there you have it. Doug said they ain't with us. Dolly. Hello. Dolly.
Hi,
Hey,
I'm Rhonda.
you're Wanda?
Rhonda from Canada, Ontario.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hi. I can shed a little bit of.
You just hung up on me, Rhonda. Okay. Damn. How you gonna do me dirty like that? I can shed a little bit of hang up on you, Dolly. Okay. I didn't hang up on you, Rhonda. I got a soda in one hand and my other hand's right here. So I didn't hang up on you. You hung up on me. All right. I don't appreciate it either. Okay. I just want you to know. I was waiting for your call that whole time and you hung up on me. You did me dirty. Okay. All right, Rhonda, feel free to call back. I'm just playing with you. Dolly ain't scared. Dolly.
Hey, Jimmy son, it's Johnny. You want me to? Hey, brother. I'd be only too happy to get off here if you're waiting to get her to call in.
Well, she'll call back.
You know, that's cool.
She'll call back.
Oh, sure. Okay. Hey, man. I'm maybe I missed this somewhere. But by the way, hello to your audience tonight, and I hope you're all doing well out there. Maybe I missed this. Maybe you could bring me up to speed on this, or maybe someone in the chat. I never heard anybody talk about a motive. Is that because they're on their side, they being the so-called perpetrators, that they're not saying anything, right? Like less is more. She's on the reservation, and I guess she has representation. Is that correct, from the reservation?
Yeah, the chief's brother is her lawyer.
Well, that's kind of convenient, is it not?
Yeah. I mean, it's convenient. I mean, that she has a lawyer, but I mean, what ain't convenient is you're a mother of a missing child that's never went out and searched for your child, and you lawyered up,
right?
Talking, you know,
right? Well,
there's no motive, Donnie. There's no motive. Nobody can give me a solid motive of why this lady would hide the.
Yeah, but there. Well, so there's two things when it comes to the missing, no matter what age, but in particular with this situation, they truly are victims in the sense that they're so small and can't protect themselves. They have no way of fighting back against someone that's, 10x over them.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. There's only two things that comes to mind to me anyway, and that's like, well, if they're no longer with us, then we just need to establish what exactly went down. Now I know that's the obvious, but I'm saying seems like there's an awful lot missing right up front on this investigation to me, because I don't know what they do up there, and I don't want to knock them too much because literally I don't know exactly how their judicial system works in Canada. But dude, you would think they'd have something to where they could say, hey, we need to take her off. What you normally do is you separate them, right? And you interrogate them, but they didn't really get to interrogate her because she took off and went, and that's so bizarre to me.
No. She spoke with the police. She took a lie detector test.
She did. She did too. Well, I know he did, but she did too.
According to him,
really?
Yeah, everybody took one, and they all passed on. Did you kill Jack?
That's unbelievable.
That's what I said, Johnny. That's the same thing I said. No way.
How is that possible?
It ain't, because you can't. These lie detector tests are not legit. They're not.
Well, I don't know. What's the judicial system in Canada? Is it admissible in court?
No, you can't use
a lie detector.
Yeah, you can't use.
Well, then shit. It's no better than the paper it's written on. That's a bogus. Look, man. For me, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, bro. Not even a full minute. She was on the phone to the RCMP. That just doesn't make any sense at all right off the bat. That's a huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And just because, and to me, so yeah, if it's not admissible, then like I said, what's that point? It means jack. Something's really rotten at Denmark, man. I hate to always use the term allegedly. Come on, man. They got something to do with it. Look, even if it's just
not Denmark, they're in Nova Scotia.
I think even if Daniel didn't pull anything physically, had anything to do with it, if allegedly they're no longer with us, then it just seems like she did something and he knows it and he's covering it.
Yeah,
That's kind of how it comes off to me.
that's kind of how I took it too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it appears. You know, I mean, there's a possibility he could know nothing, but I think the chances of that are super slim.
Well, the most devastating thing here, I know I'm riding the horse into the ground, but it's the 48-hour window. That's what keeps coming back to me every single time. We're talking 61 days here in just a few hours. That's just way too long for little ones, little kiddos like that to be downrange without no one apparently having any information on where they're at. But it just, so at this point, they know where she's at. They obviously know where he's at. They just don't know where the kiddos are at.
Nope.
And nobody's talking.
Nope. Well, they're talking.
No
now they're talking. Daniel's saying, you know, he's kind of leaking it out there that she put these kids in a vehicle and hit them.
Okay, and to hide them for what reason?
There ain't no reason to hide them. That's what I'm saying. There's no good reason to hide the kids. If you was going to hide a kid and she left him and won't communicate with him, if she was going to hide a kid, she would have hid Meadow, which is his kid. She didn't hide his kid. She just the other two kids.
Is there any truth to the fact that, and I'll start wrapping this up, y'all. I know the other callers are waiting. They want to get on. I understand. So I'll start with this. Is there any knowledge, or do you have any knowledge of what's her name? Malaya?
Not much. She's
very limited. No, what's the girl's name?
Malaya.
What? Yeah. Okay. Malaya, was she like, well, no, what I was going to ask you is, was there, like, she have a postpartum issues at all, or? I mean,
a lot of people, a lot of people in the chat believe that, but we don't know for any facts. Her youngest baby was 19 months old, and I don't know. That's hard to say.
So you don't know if there's any of the SRS, allegedly pharmaceuticals going down, because they always tie that. It always seems like these guys turn out to be the, I'm doing air commas, shooters at schools and all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It always seems it has something to do with why am I tying that together? Because, it seems like a lot of these people, it doesn't help, makes them worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that has anything to do with the price of tea in China. Nothing against China, y'all. I don't shop at Walmart anymore, though. Anyway. I don't know why I'm saying that. That was bad.
All right, Johnny. All right, my man.
Right.
You be good.
Hey, man. Yeah, take care.
All right, peace.
Okay.
Now, as far as the postpartum, we don't know. A lot of people have alleged possibly that could be the reason she's acting the way she is. Like we do, it's hard because some things I go off of what Daniel says, but I don't really believe him. So I don't know if I should be even listening to him. But he says there was a disconnect between her and the kids. But when we look at old pictures of Malaya with the kids, she looked happy. The kids looked clean. Everything looked good. Fast forward it 2 years, less than 2 years, she looks disheveled. The kids look disheveled. The house is a shithole meth lab. The inside, apparently, according to the grandmother, which there's no reason for the grandmother to lie, is dirty. So, and apparently they're doing a GoFundMe. I will post that link for you guys tomorrow. And I guess the biological grandmother is putting it together with some other people for bracelets and flyers to be passed out and stuff like that. So, me, I tell people I don't post people's GoFundMe unless I know it's legit. So they were sending me information today to show me that the GoFundMe is legit and that they want to buy bracelets. Them little bracelets like I gave out for Sebastian and Summer Wells, and they add up. They're like $1 a piece. So I think they're raising money to get those bracelets and to get flyers so they can start passing out flyers and stuff like that. So I will share that with you guys tomorrow. I just don't have it handy on me right this second. So, plus, I don't post nothing until my producer approves it. Okay. Once the producer says, yeah, you can post it, then I'll post it for you guys. But it's, I guess they're just trying to get money together to help spread awareness, right? We're always funny about these money things, you know, because there's a lot of, you know, sometimes people take advantage of situations, and we don't think it's a situation like that. But I just want my producer to go over it before I share the people's information. You know what I'm saying? So I'll probably share that with you guys tomorrow. And I guess it's so they can, you know, hand out, like I said, the bracelets and stuff like that. Or I may donate some to them, you know, myself, you know, just to help out the situation, and send them to whoever's in Canada to pass out. But we can't leave these kids behind, right? It's important that there is awareness for these kids, and people continue to share their face and fight for answers and put pressure on the RCMP so they don't give up on these kids, right? Like, to me, there should have already been an arrest. Okay. There should have already been an arrest, and there's not, right? Like, if you lie to the authorities, and apparently, I don't know if the authorities are not watching this, but somebody needs to take everything Daniel has said, and I may have PJ start putting this together, all his messages, the text messages he sent, everything he said, and send those to the RCMP, because that's not the original story you told the police. That's not the original story that Malaya told the police. Okay? So if it ain't right, that means it's a lie. And if it's a lie, that means you lied to the authorities. That's against the law. Okay? I know it's against law here in the States. I'm pretty sure it's against the law to lie to the authorities in Canada. You shared a missing poster every day. Well, thank you. That is awesome. And guys, continue to share. Listen, what if I'm wrong? It is important to still continue to share these babies' faces, just in case they are out there and I'm an absolute idiot and I was wrong about the whole thing, and the kids are out there living their best life. We need to continue to share the photos. I don't really think that's the case, but continue to share them anyway. All right. Durwood needs to follow up from the cops, in my opinion. Durwood is just a bunch of hearsay. Okay. It's hearsay. Durwood wasn't there. Durwood don't know. Okay. So it don't matter what Durwood says. It don't matter what any of those people say, because it don't matter. They're hearing it from another person. Janie needs to follow up with the police. Daniel needs to follow the police. Malaya needs to follow the police. These are the people that know. These are the people who are there. Everybody else is just hearing shit. Durwood is just repeating what he's heard. Right? So, and if these people are lying, then all Durwood is doing is repeating a lie. Now, that don't mean go threaten Durwood, because apparently, you know, Durwood has been getting threats and people have been bothering his family and things like that. Don't do those types of things, people. Okay? And if you guys are in other chat rooms, encourage their viewers, don't do stuff like that either. Listen, we ain't the executioners here. We ain't the jury. Okay? We just armchair detectives. If they're responsible for something, then it'll come out and they'll pay the price, right? But to threaten people or to harass people or try to cause people harm is completely unnecessary, right? Unnecessary. Even, you know, we all think Malaya's guilty. I wouldn't encourage anybody to harass this woman, threaten this woman, bother this woman. If she's done this, she's going to go to prison. She's going to pay the price, right? So leave that to the police to handle that stuff. You know, just don't be sending people messages that I ever see you, I'm going to do this or that. That's a threat. You know, it's against the law to threaten people. It's against the law to harass people. So don't do those things. Like, I don't send her messages. I don't try to contact, you know what I'm saying? So as a viewer, don't try to do those things either, right? Because we heard Jordan last night, And he was mostly upset about people threatening his daddy and people calling the police on him. Well, the RCMP. So we know that the RCMP are following up on tips, because when Jordan called last night, he said they showed up at his house yesterday. The RCMP saying, hey, you were seen out here with some kids. But it was his brother's kids or his girlfriend's kids that were in the yard, and not Jack and Lily. He swears that he's never met Jack, Lily, or Meadow, or Malaya. He just knows Daniel. He's known him since he was 14, 15 years old, and that Daniel's a good guy. Now, he believes Daniel because Daniel told him he didn't have nothing to do with this. But then again, listen, sometimes good people do bad things, right? Or cover for bad people. Love is a powerful weapon. Now, let me open the phone lines back up. I had them closed so I could yap for a minute. Okay, but the phone lines are now back open. Call-in numbers on the screen, 757-797-6694. Now, I ain't going to be here super long tonight. Dolly.
Hi,
Hey,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who's this? Where you calling from?
I'm Danny, and I'm calling from Sandy, Utah.
Okay, what's going on? I didn't hear your name, though.
It's Danny.
Donna?
Danny. Danny?
Danny.
Danny.
Okay, what's up, Danny?
Hi. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Anyway, I was wondering if the reason they're hiding them kids is maybe that something's going on that they don't want the kids to talk about. Have you ever thought of that?
What? They don't want the kids to talk about, but they're going to lie to authorities over it?
No, like they've been abused or something at one time, like Daniel's done something or, whipped on them or something like that.
Yeah, but...
And that she's hiding them because she doesn't want them taken away from her because of, the situation or something.
Well, why would they take the kids away from her if Daniel's whipping on the kids?
Well, because she hasn't been a very good mother, is what they said, and he's the one that's doing everything for them, and that she's kind of pushed him aside. I don't know.
That's according to him, and I believe him to be.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a little bit of a liar. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible.
Even Durwood said, well, we ain't going to say he lied. We're going to say he made a mistake. No, you lied. Why would you lie in a missing kids case unless you're covering something up?
Well, if they are hiding him, there's got to be a good reason why. Maybe, if she was going to leave him, wouldn't she just take the kids and leave?
Yeah.
I don't understand why she's taking the kids and hiding them away from them.
If she was going to hide the kids, why didn't she hide Meadow?
That's true. Yeah. Because that's her, like that lady said, Meadow. That's all she thinks about, and cares about anymore.
Yeah, but you would hide them all. If you were going to hide 2, you would hide 3.
You would
think you would hide your favorite kid first.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It just seems a little weird. Something's going on.
Yeah.
If they're still alive, I don't know. I just hate to hear that they're gone.
It sucks. I hate saying it, but I just, statistically, it's just what it is. It's like the odds of these kids being alive and this being a hoax is very small. There's greater chances that these kids, foul play has happened to these kids by one of their loved ones or somebody they know.
And I can't believe that the police haven't called her in and sat her down and, said, hey, this is a bunch of baloney.
Well, they have. The police have spoke with her. They have spoke with her. She's been in there. She has been speaking to the authorities.
But there's got to be a reason why she got to, she said that they took off in a car or, they had a witness, didn't they?
That was never.
You don't believe that either?
That was if that was the case, they wouldn't have been searching the woods. They would have put out an Amber Alert, and so that means
that's true.
That means the grandmother never told the police that. Why are they saying that now, but they didn't say that in the beginning? when it was
Yeah,
important. That's going to come out what, a month later, over a month, almost 2 months later.
yeah, that's hard to know what to believe, what not to.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
that,
what do you?
that whole Jamie thing with the she seen her get in a car. Well, why didn't we know that on week 1 or week 2, maybe week 3, maybe week 4? Why did we find out about that 7-8 weeks later?
Yep.
So that's why I call
crazy.
that's why I call BS on it. That's why I call BS on hiding the kids. I'm like, they didn't hide these kids. These kids have done, I hate even saying it, but something bad's happened to these kids. I believe it's foul play. That's just my
Yeah, and they should have stuck. You would have thought they would have stuck together if they did something to them. You think that she did it and we don't know about it?
I thought the same thing. You're absolutely right. You would think if they both did something, they would have stuck together, but they didn't. So that kind of threw me off in the beginning because I was thinking, if they did it together, they would be in it together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But with them splitting up, kind of throws a little curve wrench in what I believe. But I think it's still possible because they split up, but he's still defending her, but she ain't defending him.
Yeah, that's what's weird. That's what I don't
it's
get.
strange because I had the same thing. I was like, well, man, usually when people commit a crime together, they stick together. Right, but maybe it's part of the plan. Let's go against each other. I'll point the finger at you. You point the finger at me, and I mean, I don't know. It's like it's the biggest mystery going on right now, for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate.
Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate you calling. Peace.
You bet. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah. Usually, people don't when they do something horrible together. They usually stick together, right? And take up for each other, but not in this case. Dolly.
Hi.
Hello.
It's Lisa. It's Lisa from British Columbia, Canada.
Hey, Lisa.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Not too bad.
Good. What do you think about the drug situation? What do you?
I mean,
what is your head on it?
I mean, when I see Daniel, I think he's a liar, but I believe he's sober. Like when I see him in the interviews, he don't appear to be under the influence. I don't mean he don't leave those interviews and go do drugs, but he seems to be sober in every interview I've seen him in.
Right. But I'm just thinking, like, I don't know. This is just in my opinion, but I think they might have gotten into some hard drugs. I don't know if we could say that online or not, but
as long as we ain't
the
naming
F word.
Yeah, maybe.
The F word, because those look like Skittles,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't do drugs, so I don't know what they look like.
I see, I see all sorts of documentaries on certain drugs because there's a lot of it going on right now, and
I've heard what they look
kids,
like,
and I'd like to, yeah. So
but I've never seen it.
Well, they do look like there's like pink, blue, green, depending on the one they want, right? So how do we know that they might have gotten into that, and who knows what their extracurricular outside of,
Doug
right?
that calls in here says the same thing. He believes that's what happened, that Lily might have grabbed him and gave one to Jack, and they did it thinking it was candy, and next thing you know, they deceased.
Yeah, that's kind of what my gut feeling is getting. Also, something that's bugging me, I don't know if you've talked about this before or not, and I just didn't hear, but that little girl that went missing, well, she didn't go missing. Her mom dropped her off in the woods, Clarabelle?
Yeah, Clarabelle.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Okay, so her mom instantly went to jail for child neglect.
Yes.
Why aren't these parents gone?
That I don't know. That's what I've been complaining about. In lying to the authorities, child neglect, get them in there long enough that you can interrogate them,
Right.
At least scare them.
So what's the difference really when you look at the cases? They found the little girl, thank goodness, but these ones aren't found. Why aren't they charged with the same, and they're both Canadian.
I wonder if she killed the dog. Remember they found the dog dead?
Yeah, that's weird too. Why is that dog dead on the side of the road?
Yeah, maybe the dog died some other way, but it made it sound like the mother killed the dog and killed the baby, but then the baby was okay. And I was just thinking, poor little doggy.
And has anybody heard on what kind of charges she got, or is she
just criminal child neglect and abandonment, I believe. So, and in her case, she needs mental help. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
She,
oh yeah.
believe it or not, there's a criminal element to it only because she needs mental help. She don't need to be in
Serious.
jail. She needs to be in a mental hospital and get her bearings back right, because you
Yeah.
could tell she was
Oh, she was spiraling out of
control.
control.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much a criminal element as it was a mental valuation. Like, lady, you need to see a psychiatrist and get some help for a little bit, maybe be medicated. And I believe she had some mental health issues, and not to justify what she did, but
No.
how do we punish sick people? Do we put sick people in jail, or do we help sick people? You know, because I feel she was sick, and she was slowly getting sicker and sicker in the brain until she did what she did, and she didn't murder the baby. So do we imprison her, or do we try to get her help? I think we should try to help the lady.
I think so too. I guess it depends on what has happened, but yeah, she definitely needs to be put in oneself somewhere for a while and get her noodle figured out.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Get her marbles back right, and then, you know, maybe face whatever punishment then when you understand what's going on. Because right now you quite don't know what's going on. Let's get you back to, you know, a healthy brain, and then let's punish you for what you did. You know.
That's right.
So,
but yeah, so I don't know. I just think, and I don't like to say that either. I don't like to think that they're gone, but I think that they're gone. And I think the reason why they're together on this is because he was probably selling it, or they were doing something, and they freaked out and did something with them.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. You might be right. I mean, you're not the only person that thinks that. I mean, there's multiple people that think they got into something, and this is, you know, that's why you don't leave drugs. You don't do drugs. Just say no, people, you know?
Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
You be good.
You too. Bye.
All right, peace. I mean, listen, I don't know. I mean, when I see Daniel, he looks to be sober. I mean, it's hard to say. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly.
Hey.
This is Joanne Marie from Michigan.
Hey, Joanne.
I think this whole mess is really screwed up.
Uh-huh.
But I do realize that people feel really trapped in these abusive situations.
Mm-hmm.
But there are ways out. I waited patiently when I was in that position. I had 2 girls already and was pregnant with 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think people need to know they can be patient and wait like I did till the right opportunity, and when it was least expected, to get the hell out.
You ever thought about this?
there.
When you're in an abusive relationship, the day might be your last day. The next time that person snaps, it might be the last time. You know, I recommend
definitely.
anybody that's in an abusive relationship get out of it immediately, because this first time you might have got slapped, but the next time you might get stabbed 37 times. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when people are hurt you, you don't know what level they'll hurt you. You know, and say you take your advice and you hang out until they're not expecting it. But how do they may snap and you're not expecting it. And next thing you know, you dead before you can get out. You know, I'd say anybody in an abusive relationship, get out of it immediately. That would be my advice, you know.
Well, it is true. Sometimes you can't just walk out at that moment.
Yeah, I understand when they're there because they may hurt you. But as soon as that first opportunity presents itself, I'd be gone.
And that's exactly what I did. But you cannot tell them or show them that's what's on your mind.
Oh, yeah.
You just get the hell out of there as soon as you can. And like I said, I was pregnant with another one and already had 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is very dangerous when you already have children and they were possession to him. And I didn't count. And then pregnant with another one, you have to be aware to get the hell out of there because you and your children are in deep danger.
Yeah, I'm not waiting that long. You put your hands on me, it'll be the last time you ever do it. And because I'm gone, I ain't never gonna have nothing to do with you. But if you start treating me bad, that's good enough for me right there. You know, mental abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. I wouldn't deal with any type of abuse towards me.
Mental abuse is much worse.
That's what I
than
think.
the physical, because you can watch your bruises heal. You sure in the hell can't heal your mind ever. You don't forget.
That's what I'm saying. I think you got to know your worth in this world and don't let anybody abuse you no matter what. Because if somebody truly loves you, they're not going to treat you like that.
Oh, no, you don't treat somebody like shit if you care about. If you can't treat your partner like they're a decent person, they're sure in hell not worth it anyway. But some people can't just escape right away. And the key is, people, please don't announce you're leaving them. That makes it even more dangerous.
I agree. Right. I agree. You don't want to let them know you're leaving, but the first opportunity that presents itself, you need to get out of Dodge.
And that's what I did. And it does take patience. And you can't wait too long.
Well, I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you got out of that.
So am I. And my children are all adults now. And they understand why mom did what she did looking back, although I got all kinds of hell from them from the start and at that time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the problem with people getting stuck in these relationships is they become dependent on people. And that's why you should never be dependent on somebody, because you just never know. Unless you know that love is true, then, you know, then there's a part where you can become dependent on these people. But like I tell my daughter, don't never be dependent on a man ever, because then.
And unfortunately, that's what happens. Though they put you in such a state that you believe that you can't survive
without them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. And if you've come from a bad upbringing before that, you're a little more tolerant at first and don't realize this is a problem.
Yeah. Because people want to work it out and think it'll get better, but it never gets better. It only gets worse.
Oh, it only gets worse.
That's right.
Dolly.
Yeah. And everybody wants to try to make things work. You know, I can't, but he promised me he won't do this again, or she in this world. Cause don't think women ain't abusive. There's abusive women.
Oh, they are. Definitely.
So, I mean, it works both ways for men and women. Listen, that when people start abusing you, when you see those signs, you need to get away from that person. I mean, until they change their ways. Don't give a person an opportunity to hurt you.
That's very true. But my advice, lovingly, to anyone in that situation is, do not believe that things are going to get better as soon as you can, and without telling them you're leaving them. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, hey, I appreciate you calling in and sharing with us.
Thank you, Dolly, and love it to everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Peace. That is absolutely true, guys. Listen, you know, once you stable and you know everything's perfect in your relationship and everything's good, then you can let your guard down. Okay. I ain't saying keep your guard up the whole time you with somebody. But usually those monsters show in the first couple years, right? If they're controlling, if they are mentally abusive, if they're physically abusive, usually those monsters show pretty quick. So after a few years, you can probably let your guard down a little bit, but always be ready to duck and weave and bob. Okay. But don't be dependent, especially on somebody in that first beginning phase, because everybody, when you meet somebody, they pretend to be great. Okay. They show you their best qualities. They don't show you the worst parts of them. Right. And then those parts slowly start to come out. And, like I said, I'm a father. So I tell my daughter, listen, don't never count on a man. Have your own stuff, be ready to take care of yourself. And then if somebody can add to your life, then let them add to your life. Right. But don't count on somebody, because the only person you really got to count on in this world is yourself. And then later on, like I said, over time, that may change. But in the beginning, be prepared for anything. Right. And I think that's the best advice you can give somebody. And like some people say, tomorrow's not promised. You get into a relationship that's abusive, soon as that person cuts their head, you need to be exit stage left. Right. Because the next argument could be your life. And you don't want that. You know what I'm saying? We want to see everybody live and prosper and do great. Right. So I think that's good advice. Just get the hell out of Dodge. And because your life is the most valuable thing you have. And we talk statistics here. You're more likely to be killed by somebody you love or hurt by somebody you love or know than a stranger. That is crazy, right? You would think you had better odds of a stranger killing you or hurting you or raping you or doing something bad to you. But no, you got better odds of that happening by somebody you know and possibly love. So you got to keep your eyes on your loved one. And listen, if you got to sleep around people, and if you're scared of people, how can you sleep around them? Right. And, and it ain't just men abusing women. There's probably more of that, more abusive men, but there's abusive women. I remember I dated this girl a long time ago, rest in peace to her, because she's passed away now. I didn't kill her. She died in her sleep. She had some medical issues, but when we were younger and we were dating, we went out to a bar, and she thought I was flirting with some girl, but I wasn't. I don't think I was anyway. I might have just been nice, and she took it the wrong way. And we had been drinking. So we get back and she's arguing with me, right? Like just mad. And I had been drinking. So I was sitting in a chair and I passed out. I'll never forget this, because this was the last day we ever dated or I ever even associated with her, because I took the signs. And this is important, right? Because this girl probably would have stabbed me one day, right? So I'm fall asleep and I wake up and she is in my face still arguing with me. I don't know how long I was asleep, but I know I was asleep. All right. And she's arguing with me. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, she's still just going off, right? Just snapping off. And so I crawl onto the bed and go to sleep. So I'm sleeping. This chick steps up onto the bed, climbs over top of me, reaches down and punches me right dead in the face. I'm talking about bust my nose, bust my mouth open, right? And I'm dead asleep, dead ass asleep, right? Get punched, slam in the face. I wake up like, what the heck? That was, get out my house. I'm calling the police, the whole thing. Like, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And her anger, I guess, because me not listening to her and her me being asleep, I guess she thought I wasn't asleep, but I was drinking. So I was just ready to pass out. And she punched me slam ass in the mouth and nose while I was asleep. So after that, I couldn't have her around me anymore. Right. And believe it or not, she was a really nice girl when she was sober. Right. But she got them few drinks in her, and the damn Rambo came out, first blood, punched me right dead in the face. I don't know if any of y'all ever been woke up by being punched in the face while you were asleep. But let me tell you, clean too, clean. And she's little, hit hard as shit. Okay. She hit hard. I mean, for a little woman, she couldn't have been more than 120 pounds. She said, wow. I mean, I woke up, I was leaking. I was like, oh my fucking God. Right. And so that was it. And then a few years later, she passed away in her sleep, which rest in peace to her. But you know, at that point, I knew I couldn't have never been able to sleep around her again. Right? Because what she done, I'd be scared that she's going to stab me or punch me or kick me in the face next time. I mean, I don't know, but that right there, that type of abuse is what I'm talking about. Like, that was it. Like, it's done. It's a wrap. It ain't no need discussing the relationship. That right there is, I can't trust you to sleep around you. I would have never been able to sleep. So that ended right there. You know what I'm saying? That was all right. This one's over with. Okay. You know, so back to the drawing board. My picker must have been broke, right? But sober, nicest person you probably ever meet. 5 drinks in, she turned into Karen Reed. Okay. I just like, and you got to be on the lookout for that, right? She razzle dazzled me. And that's something you'll never forget. Right. I'll never forget that. Like, that stick with me for the rest of my life. That girl punching me in the face. I think about that a lot. You know, just like, but she's the only person to ever do something like that to me too. You know what I'm saying? And I just would have never seen it coming. Right. I was asleep, but I mean, far as, you know, I felt safe around her. I never thought she'd punch me in the face awake, most likely asleep. And, she did. That shit was, and I didn't think it would hurt so bad. You know what I'm saying? It even had a buzz and it hurt, right? I was bleeding. I was like, that is just wild. But when something like that happens, don't never let nobody put their hands on you. And you gotta end it no matter what. Like, you know, like, even if she said, oh, you know, I was drunk, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. Nah, that's all right. We ain't gonna give you the opportunity to ever do it again, you know. So women can be abusive too, you know, like, and you know, to be honest, she said it's because I was flirting with this girl, but I really don't remember flirting with nobody, right? I just was nice because I'm just a generally nice person, but it got me punched in the face. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be nice to nobody no more. Hell no. I better be an asshole when you beat me. I'll just next one. I don't want to die, right? I don't want to die. All right, let me open the phone lines back up. But I just wanted to share that story with you because it's still crazy to me to this day. Now, I don't hold a grudge against her. She, you know, she passed away, and you know, that's pretty sad. She was a young lady. It kind of sucked, you know. But I was a friend. I just couldn't date you anymore. Dolly.
Hi, it's Rhonda again.
Hey, Rhonda, again.
Hi, from Canada, Ontario.
Okay, I got you. Ain't gonna hang up on me this time, are you?
No. I was sitting too close to my computer and it knocked out my phone. So now I'm standing in my kitchen.
Okay, all right.
So I apologize.
All right.
Okay, so I can shed a little bit of light on the case. So this November 9th will mark 23 years that my brother went missing. And we know he was murdered, everything else, okay?
Wow.
Long story short, his remains have never once been found. However, we as a family, you know, you have to talk to all these people. Our police department here where I live in Waterloo, they botched my brother's case from the get-go, okay? So getting back now here to the Lily and Jack case, okay? So I got friends that live out there in Truro and around there. So go back to their very first interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were lying right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So if you listen to what Malaya was saying at the end of that interview, she said the kids weren't sleeping in their beds. Well, how could they have heard them playing outside then?
If they wasn't sleeping in their beds?
Go back to her first interview, her only interview, toward the end, and listen to what she said.
Yeah, it's hard.
If you can,
I went back to try to find that original interview, and I can only find little clips of it. I can't find the whole full original anywhere.
Okay, so I believe it's CBC out there or something.
Uh-huh.
Is it? Okay, well, it's there's a clip of it on the YouTube as well that has it, the whole interview.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you just put in the Google search, okay, of the Jack and Lily, and then it will show like their interviews, and there's only the one with her. We know that.
Yeah.
Listen towards the end of what she said.
Yeah, but like I said, I can only find, when I Google it, I can only find like a 30-second clip of it. I can't find it full entirety.
No, it's the whole interview, the 2-minute interview that she did with CBC, or 3 minutes or whatever the heck it was. It's on the Facebook.
Oh, on the Facebook. Okay, yeah, I haven't looked on Facebook for it.
Yeah. Please pull that up and listen towards the end of what she said.
Okay, and you said it's on what channel on Facebook?
Okay, so I just type in, like, under Google, okay, and just type in the Lily and Jack Sullivan. Okay, so let me just see if I can. Now, am I allowed to share this on your platform?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Lily
here.
Jack
Let me
Sullivan,
just-
mom's interview.
Okay, let me copy this. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put this here in your paste. Okay.
Oh well, no, you
Hopefully
won't be
my
able.
name
You
is
won't be able to paste it in the chat because you're not a mod. Only mods can post
Oh.
links.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I just did. I
Okay.
apologize.
I mean,
Okay,
you could take
so
like the
it is
.com
there.
off of it or something, and it'll post it. But
Oh, geez. Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Okay, my apologies. Okay, it's the video. Okay, and there's even closed captioning.
oh, I got it. I just found it. I Google searched
Thank
it
you.
and found it on Facebook.
Thank
Okay.
you. And there's even the closed captioning where she.
Yeah, I got
talks
it.
about
I just got it. I had to Google search it. Not, I was searching for it on YouTube, but now I got it. I got the whole
Okay.
interview.
Okay, my apologies. Okay,
I'm gonna
so-
play it in just a second.
Okay, so going back to everything that we had to go through with my brother's case. Okay, so go back to, I don't believe that it was May the 1st or May the 2nd that the kids went missing.
Mhm.
No, I think it was prior to that. So I
Well, it
think
could
that
only
there's
be
really-
one day because there was proof they were alive the day before.
Well,
at the
no,
mall.
that's actually no. They only said family seen them. There wasn't anybody in stores that said that they seen them.
No,
that's why
they were on video.
Well, no, the RCMP didn't say that. They said that it was family that said they seen the kids.
No, they were with family, is what the RCMP. They said they had video of the kids with family the day before near the mall.
Because when the RCMP came back saying they needed video footage, like from people's dash cams and whatever else they had, right? From April 27th.
The police said, and I know this is, I'm positive on this, that there was proof of life that the kids were alive the day before they were seen with parents the day before near the mall.
So Malaya and Daniel, the parents. There you go. So the parents, right?
Yeah, it was Daniel Malaya. Daniel even said that on the interview where he did the sit down interview. He said, yeah, the RCMP had video of me. It was me, Malaya, Meadow, Jack, and Lily. And they were at the mall.
Okay, but yet nobody else had confirmed it.
No, RCMP did confirm it.
Oh, well, okay. Well, they botched the case from the get-go. Let's get serious. But so anyways, now go back to where people keep saying about the kids supposedly leaving in a vehicle, right? But nobody else had seen that. Well, isn't that ATV a vehicle?
Yeah, the ATV is a vehicle.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and it was an awful clean one too.
And if she's saying that the kids were not in bed that night, okay, She's saying that they were not, and she doesn't want to have to go through that again. So does that mean that they took the kids off throughout the evening in that ATV?
I mean, I don't know.
That's the only clean thing that was on that property.
I agree. I agree that it was awful clean.
Come on now.
Compared to everything else.
And it looked a little too clean.
I thought so too. I thought so too. And Daniel did admit that day he was riding that ATV too.
There you go. See? So you have to go in between the lines of every single thing that they've been saying. Right? So you kind of, you pick apart everything, right? And then this whoever cousin it is that is getting the 15 minutes of fame here on
Logan,
the chat, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 things about that. 1, he either was there or he wasn't. And 2, he wants his 15 minutes of fame. For what reason? For what reason?
Well, I mean, there's a couple people. There's Logan, which is Daniel's cousin. And then there's Durwood, which is the third cousin. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why he just came out of the woodwork.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So again, going to my brother's case, we had to go through all of this as well in the beginning when my mom's company did a $10,000 reward. And then you had people coming out of the woodwork saying, oh yeah, we've seen them here, blah, blah, blah. And all to find out that none of that was true at all.
Yeah.
Nothing of that was true. So then you go back to, why would you say all that then? What was your involvement?
Yeah.
That's what we had to all do.
Okay.
And so I'm just saying, like, go back to the only interview here that she did. So, and then I'll just give you my 2 cents here. Every single person that was on that property has knowledge of what happened.
I agree.
And I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, okay? And I'm not, but I hate to say it, but Jack and Lily are not on the earth plane.
Yeah, I agree.
And,
I don't.
And it's sad to say. I mean, I had to do that when I filed the missing person report against, like, for my brother. Okay. And you can find gazillions of videos with all of our family talking about all of this. There's even a Facebook group about it. Okay. Everything. Okay. So I'm just saying they all have knowledge. They all know what happened. Every single one of them, either directly or indirectly, are involved. And in terms here, with the trailer lady, the Daniel's mother, okay, I'll tell you right now, our Waterloo Regional Police Service, when they went to the house where my brother was, and the guy that owned that house, I'm not going to say names, said he's not going to let them in because his dog, okay, and is afraid he's going to bite them. Well, they called in animal
control.
Society.
Yeah.
And they did. And said, no. Then the Humane Society came and took the dogs in so that the police could go in. So why the hell did that happen over there then?
Yeah, I don't know why.
She hiding? What was she hiding?
I don't know. I don't know either. I thought the same thing. Why didn't she just, put the dog on a leash and let them go in and do whatever they had to do?
So
Janie.
So again, so you got to go back right to the beginning as to all these little tiny clues, right, that you think are irrelevant, but actually turn into something bigger.
Okay.
And the other thing too is, wasn't there a fire pit or something like that somewhere on that property?
Well, I'm pretty sure they have a fire. Even I have a fire pit. So, I mean,
right.
I don't know. I didn't see one visible big enough to like burn a body in.
No, I'm not talking about that. But what I'm talking about is if there was a fire pit somewhere on that property, because I can't see, right? But how do you not know that something wasn't burnt as evidence in there on top of like garbage or whatever?
I mean, you don't. You don't. And a lot of people that live in rural areas do burn their trash. But look, we're out of time, so I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
All right, you be good.
You too. Bye.
Okay, callers, give me 1 second. We're gonna play this 2-minute video because I've been looking for this damn video for like the last month, and I could only find the 30-second clip. I didn't think to look onto Facebook for it. I was looking for it on YouTube, and I could not find it to save my life. So hold on, let me adjust it. I need to cut the volume on.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them.
All right, here we go.
Just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us. And I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And
then how do you know they were outside playing? How does she know that? We wasn't aware of it at the time. Okay, what made you aware of it? Did Janie make you aware of it? The grandmother? Oh, the kids were out there playing. How did she know, right? She just said it out of her own mouth. The kids were outside playing. How the hell do you know? Unless the grandmother told you, yeah, the kids were in the backyard playing. And she didn't watch them. She heard them out there and she didn't look out there. I mean, that's a little weird, guys.
The next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that.
Well, you didn't check on them the night before. Okay, that's just weird.
People are always asking me which jackass guy am I the closest with, and hands down, it's this guy. We had known each other for like one.
Okay, I don't know how it went from Malaya to Steve-O from Jackass. Okay, but I guess either way, we're listening to two jackasses. You know, the Steve-O one and Malaya. You know, she said it was hard for her because they wasn't in their bed. Well, how do you know? Did you check? You didn't check on them the night before, but you went and checked on them when they wasn't there. I hope they're warm with those sweaters, Dolly. Ed, amen to that, brother. Okay. This is, what the topic was tonight. The pink blanket that's in the tree makes no sense because the pink blanket was in the trash. How did it get to the tree? And where's the other part of the pink blanket? And the 2 sweaters, why ain't they accounted for? Okay. And Daniel said the most cryptic thing when he said, I hope, when the babies are found, them sweaters ain't there that she took. It's like he knows these kids are wrapped up in 2 sweaters. Does he know where they're at? I don't know. But he knows that they went out that house wrapped up in 2 sweaters. That to me is scary because I don't know if one of them done it and the other one didn't. You would think both of them are responsible, right? But I mean, I don't know. Like, it's so confusing with them. Is it possible that Daniel don't know and she does? I mean, it's possible. I just think highly unlikely. But their behavior is, if they did it together, but now they're not on the same team, it's weird. So maybe it's possible one of them is the culprit and the other one don't know. But that would be hard to pull off in a trailer with your significant other there, right? If they took the sweaters she left while RCMP on the scene, they would document the items she took. Ashley, why don't the RCMP go over there and see at her mama's house if she has the sweaters? Okay. If that's the huge clue she took and Daniel thinks they're going to be found with the babies, where are these hoodies? Where are these sweaters? Where's the other part of the pink blanket? Okay. AGM 88, new member. That's a good way. Welcome to the Dolly train. Get on, all aboard. Okay. The Blessed Express. Yeah, let's find out where these sweaters are. Let's find out where the other piece of that blanket is. Because to me, it sounds like these kids were wrapped up and taken out of that house. I don't know if it sounds like that to anybody else. But to me, you got a blanket in a tree. Maybe that was planted like a lot of you. Okay, let's ask this question. Like this video first. There's 1,700 of you in the room. I bet you we don't even have, probably got barely over 1,000 likes on this video. And there's like 1,700 of you here. And if you haven't, make sure you sub up so the little zombie hand waves over here. Okay, you get a little zombie wave. If you think that blanket was planted in that tree to get the police out searching in the woods, I want you to like the video. Okay, 1K, that's how many likes we got. I knew it. And then I want you to press 1 in the chat if you think it was planted. 2, if you think it just randomly ended up there. Okay, 1, that piece of blanket was planted to have people searching those woods. Okay, make sure you like the video first. 1, 1, 1. I see a lot of ones. Right? Nobody thinks that wind blew the blanket out the trash can down the street and into a tree. I see a lot of ones. A lot of people believe the blanket, the pink blanket, was planted. And that's really what this video was supposed to be about tonight, is that pink blanket. Why? How did it end up out of the trash can? Who put it in the tree? And only part of it, and where's the rest of it? And of course, we can't talk about the pink blanket without talking about the 2 sweaters that are missing. And are these kids wrapped up in sweaters? And did somebody take them away from that house in a vehicle? I don't believe, and this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. These kids are not alive anymore. This got foul play written all over it. Much as Daniel wants to make it sound like they're, making s'mores on a reservation somewhere, and Durwood's running it, that narrative, same narrative, that don't make it true. And if he lied, and so many people agree that he's a liar, but yet they believe. First time I've heard of the 2 sweaters. Oh, you haven't heard about the 2 sweaters? Oh, yeah. That Malaya, while he was at the, here's something crazy. Somebody said this to me too. So he goes to the command center, Daniel, right? And while he's at the command center, Malaya goes in the house and she takes 2 sweaters. All right, not hoodies, sweaters. So, because I asked Daniel, I said, is it the hoodie kind, like I wear with the hood? And, he said, no, they were actual physical sweaters. So he goes to the command center to check to see if they have any updates on Jack and Lily. And while he does that, Malaya goes in the house and takes 2 sweaters and leaves with her mom. Leaves all her shit, but allegedly takes these 2 sweaters. And then in the chat, he says, I hope when they find these babies that the 2 sweaters are not there. Which was cryptic. Like, oh my God, dude, why would you say something like that? So to me, it sounds like these 2 babies were wrapped up in those sweaters and they were taken from this home. And then we have the situation with the cousin and Malaya's friend fighting over this blanket. Okay. She said she thought it was on the handrail and they found it in a tree. Okay. Down the street. The blanket's in a tree. But Daniel's alleging that he threw that blanket away a week before that. Now, how did the blanket get out the trash? Who put the blanket in the tree? Where are the sweaters? Okay, where are the kids? Why are they telling inconsistent statements? Why is Malaya lawyered up and not talking to the media? I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? I remember that. You said that. Did they use a blanket for the dogs? That I don't know. Could the dogs got into the trash? How would a dog put a blanket in a tree? Hold on. Somebody wants to call in? Nino, call in. All right, I'll open the phone lines. If there's somebody that wants to call in that has something important to say, leave the phone lines open for them. Chat. Phone lines off. Phone lines are on now. Answer the phone, Dolly. I'm going to answer the phone every now and then. I cut it off so I can talk. Dolly. Yes.
Hi, this is Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
I'm from St. Louis.
What's up?
I just wanted to run this by you. Whenever this first came out, I went to Malaya's Facebook page. I know it's an older Facebook, but I went all the way down her timeline.
Uh-huh.
She hated her mother. She honestly hated her mother. She had a godmother she would talk to and would tell her she's so evil. She was kicking the horse in the stomach. I mean, just like an evil woman. That's one thing. I mean, I don't know if you want to go back and try to read some of that one. She's probably about 5 years younger. And she had a brother that she took care of herself because her mother didn't help her. So, and then what happened to Daniel's brother?
That I don't know. I've always found him a little strange.
Well, I looked him up, and he was a wanted fugitive a few years back, and he was hiding in that Winnebago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Camper.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's online. I looked it up. There was an article on it. So, yeah, I can't remember. If you remember his name, look him up because he did have. They found him finally.
Yeah, I know I know he's going through a divorce.
Well, I wouldn't trust him either. I can't remember what his charges were, but it was something pretty serious because they had a manhunt out looking for him.
Wow!
And he was there with his mama.
Okay.
And that was a few years before this happened, but it was still a pretty big charge because everybody that knew him was saying, "Oh, that's so and so. Isn't this him? He's living out in that camper." And they went out and got him. So there's more to it, but I think for sure Malaya's mother is involved in it.
Or knows. I think she may be protecting Malaya and knows what happened. And that's why she's not letting her talk to anybody. That's why she went and got her the lawyer. That's why all this is transpiring the way it is. Yeah, her mother is suspect too. Definitely has knowledge of what's going on, I believe.
Yes, she does. For sure.
So
it might even be her evil plan, to get the kids out of there.
Yeah, but what reason? And not get Meadow out?
Well, maybe she was going to get out. Did she have a car?
Yeah, Malaya had a car, yeah.
Okay, maybe she was planning until Daniel's mother came out.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Catching her out in the yard on her phone.
I don't know.
I don't know, but that mother, I'm telling you, there's something not right in that family. And then she was, there was some posts on there where she was wanting to run off with an older man, and the godmother was talking to her on there on her Facebook page, and she's saying, "No, Malay, he's too old for you. You know, he's not right for you." And I don't know if that's who she had the babies with or what, but
no, she had the babies with Corey.
Right, but I don't know if he's older than her.
Is it Cody? I think it might be Cody. Cody or Corey?
Yeah, I looked him up too. He's a sight. But yeah, no, I just want to throw that by you. If you ever look at her old Facebook page, if it's still on there, go way down.
Okay.
And you'll start seeing these conversations about her mom being so evil. She has to get away from her.
I don't think her Facebook page is up right now. I'm not positive.
It was an old one. It was one from the time, it was probably from 3 years ago or so and down. She was younger.
Okay.
But still, she lived that kind of life. You never know.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate you calling in.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Peace. Yeah, I think she deactivated her Facebook. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. Can I please, what did it say? Call. Can you call? Yeah, the phone lines are open. You just got to beat whoever calls in. I mean, the phone lines are open right now. So you just got to wait till it ends. And right before we're about to hang up, call in. Because you got to remember there's a little delay. Right? So if you wait till somebody's still on the phone, but they're about to hang up, and then you call in, you should have perfect timing. You got to know how to time the phone calls is all it is. Some of the regulars, they get through every time. You know, so they like know how to. Dolly. Hello. All right. See, like that person, they called in and hung up. So now, as far as her Facebook page, I would have to go find it. And does any of my mods know if her Facebook is active? The last time I looked, it wasn't active. I guess Nino is gone from chat. Did Nino have something they wanted to say? I mean, listen, I just answer the phones. You have to, it's kind of luck, whoever gets through, or you wait till it goes quiet, right? And nobody's talking, and then you call in. Like the phone line ain't ringing. It hasn't rang. Let me refresh it and make sure. Sometimes it gets jammed up. There it goes. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, it's Army Mom. How are you?
Hey, Army Mom. I'm good.
When I need true crime advice, I always listen to you, Dolly. So I need you to tell me something.
Okay, let's do it.
Why do these kids go up missing all the time with no traces at all? Tell me, how does it happen?
That's a hard question.
Now, Dolly, you should know this question.
How does it happen? I would say bad parenting is my answer.
Yeah. And it always happens in Tennessee all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So.
Yeah. I would just say bad parenting, neglectfulness, things of that nature.
But why are there no clues anywhere? How they have such clean hands? It just shocks me.
It only clean crimes happen in rural areas, never in the city. You can't do a clean. There's too many cameras and too many moving pieces in the city. The only time people get away with this type of stuff is when they're out in the country.
Well, Sebastian Rogers, there were cameras everywhere, but nothing caught him.
Well, no, he's in a rural area too. It's not like a real populated area. He's in a subdivision of a rural area. Like there's nothing around, and then you go into a little neighborhood. Well, there's two neighborhoods. Well, three. There's three little neighborhoods that are kind of adjacent to each other, and then the rest of it's like streams and creeks and mannequins.
Mannequin. I was going to ask you if there's a mannequin in Canada in the woods.
They find a damn mannequin. We need to start locking mannequins up at this point. Like, all right, we're going to start locking all you mannequins up. Y'all can't trust y'all. But yeah,
it's pumpkins in Canada, not mannequins.
Pumpkins
and Bigfoot.
And Bigfoot, yeah. But Tennessee, they got the mannequin problem. It's so. But all right, Army Mom.
All right, Dolly. You have a good night.
You too. Peace.
All right, peace.
So, according to the psychics, the kids are in a pumpkin patch in Canada. Okay, y'all remember that? You know, with the psychics, all the psychics coming out the woodworks. I don't believe none of them psychics, not YouTube psychics. Okay, I just don't. I don't believe no YouTube. Dolly, you got to turn me down in the background.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name's Corey. I'm calling from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
What's up, Corey? How's it going?
Yeah, a lot of people are blaming the mom, and that might be correct. I don't know. But if the stepdad is the stepdad, can't the mom just walk away with the kids? Like, he could be at work and she could jump in the car with the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people believe she was trying to get away and she hid the kids, but there's no reason to hide the kids. They're not even his kids.
Exactly. It's her property, basically.
Yeah, and it's not illegal to hide your kids. It's illegal to lie to the authorities.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Well, everything that happened afterwards, if she did do that, would be huge amount of like resources wasted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if Canada would go after her for the the money that it costs to search for these kids if it is a hoax. But I don't think it's a hoax. I believe there's some foul play involved in her behavior of, not talking, lawyering up, and, acting like Casey Anthony. It's just a telltale sign of something bad has happened. Like, I don't think these kids are going to just magically appear one day.
No. Yeah, I agree. I don't think she just took them and ran. Something happened to them. Like, my opinion or thoughts, I guess, is maybe there was some drugs around the house somewhere. It looked like there could be drugs kicking around, and maybe they took something and OD'd and they freaked out.
Yeah.
But I can't understand why, like, they're so separated, and
I know,
like the mom and the stepdad, right?
That's a hard one to figure out, because if you think if they were both in on whatever happened to the kids, it seems like they would stick together until it ended at least. But no, they didn't. They immediately went their own ways and started pointing the fingers at each other, which is strange, right? Because then you don't know who did what. To me, it could be one or the other, but I'm leaning more towards the mom because of her behavior. I don't trust the stepdad, but I lean more towards the mom being my number one suspect.
Yeah, it could be. I can't tell at this point. It's just a weird
situation. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's why there's so much interest in it, because it's a mystery for sure, and there's a lot of weird stuff in it, like inconsistent statements. And if he don't know, then why did he take up for her in the beginning? But now it's kind of flipped up, flipped sides, I guess. I don't know. I don't know who to blame. I just know the kids didn't wander off, and I don't believe they were kidnapped. Other than that, I have no clue to what the hell's going on.
No, and like the dog search left at the end of the road, right?
Yeah.
And
no dog trail at all.
I know, but did they search for the stepdad and the mom's trail, or did they sniff like the mother-in-law, or
I don't know.
the brother?
I don't know. Because when I wasn't there, but from my understanding, they needed to bring in cadaver dogs almost instantly. They should have been searching the vehicles and stuff like that, and they didn't. They went weeks before they even considered bringing in cadaver dogs, and I still don't know if they did. To see if they smelled any sign of foul play, because we looked up the other day, a cadaver dog can find you. If you're deceased, it can smell you in a matter of minutes of your death. Minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, minutes. So like 5 minutes later, they can smell you. And they never brought in cadaver dogs for at least the first 3 weeks. And I still don't know if they did, but I know in the first few weeks they didn't, because when they called off the search, the reporter asked them, have y'all brought in cadaver dogs? And the RCMP said, no, but that might be our next move. So that first few weeks, they'd never even had cadaver dogs on the property, which I found crazy.
Oh, wow.
Or in their vehicle.
That should be their first move.
Should have been their first move. Yeah, to bring in the dogs and let the dogs see what the dogs hit on and go from there. And if they're that damn close to the reservation, they should have brought in some trackers.
Yeah.
So, hey, but
yeah, I'm gonna. Thanks for the call. I just I can't see why a mother would steal her own kids. That'd be like me stealing my own car.
Yeah, I agree.
In a weird way, like
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they belong to her. She could have taken them. She could have waited till he went to work. She didn't have to do any weird shit like that. Like people are saying, she put him in a car and drove off.
Yeah.
Even if he's abusive, those kids belong to her. She could have left. She left with her kid that belonged to him too.
Yeah, she left her first relationship with the kids, no problem. Why wouldn't she leave the second one? But you be good, my brother.
All right, thanks.
All right, peace.
Thanks a lot.
I was watching this comedian one day, and this is funny because he said that's like me stealing my own car. And the comedian said, I was so bad on crack. I was halfway out this window with a microwave one day until I realized it was my house. I was like, damn. He said, I was stealing my own microwave. That's how bad I was on crack. I was like, that is terrible. He said, I was halfway out the window before I realized it was my house. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Yes.
Hey, so I just wanted to put my little 2 cents in. I'm from Georgia. My name's Shauna.
Hey, Shauna.
I'm so happy I get to be a member now. I told you I'd get when I got to a text. Anyways, I want to tell you about this. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is not just killed her mother. She had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's not only that. The FOIAs have come out, and I like do court reporting records. That's what I
look what her mother did to her. You know, I don't want to
justify. She didn't. The court records and her medical records prove that that's not true. She's only had 8 surgeries, and they were all needed because of her chromosome disorder. I swear to God, it's legal and it's public knowledge. Look it up.
Okay.
The FOIA stuff. I promise you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
By proxy, yes, but the way it looks like if you do your homework, even the people like the higher ups in the court that are writing it, they say if Nick's lawyer would have been a good lawyer or being paid more, that he would have had this stuff introduced to the court. Okay. Like the videos of Gypsy showing him how to stab her mom, where to stab her, all that. But really, like, the boy don't lie, and that's not how he does. He's always been not there, you know? And he's never changed his story. And you know the truth don't change. And he's always stuck to, he only stabbed her 4 times. That woman's nose was broke. Her neck was cut on the back, really bad and deep. And there was 17 stab wounds. And he said when he stabbed her, she didn't hardly bleed. You know what? She already bled up. I'm just saying. But Jack and Lily, I honestly believe I think Malaya hurt them, and I think Daniel's lying to cover it up. But what I don't understand, and maybe it's because of how the police are. Look, if they could get away with all this, they can do anything and get away with it. So, I mean, because it doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you have produced the children alive, and deal with the little bit of consequences you would have? Because it really wouldn't. I mean, apparently, look, they ain't been arrested yet. Here, you'd have been arrested the minute you opened your mouth.
Well, once they knew you were lying, at least.
Well, I mean, honey, you could tell she was lying. Well, if anybody's missing 2 children and they ain't cried all, that's not a mama. And then to leave the only home they know is home. Are you serious? Even if I got in a fight with somebody, even if the cops told me to leave, I would tell them straight up, you can say what you want, and you have to take me to jail. I will burn this place down before I leave.
Whoa, wow. Okay, I hear you.
That's my baby. You know what I mean? I'm a mama bear, and that's my babies. And I don't play about mine. I love people. I would never hurt nobody. I'm the nicest person in the world. But when it comes to my children, I'm another person.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't leave either. I wouldn't leave. I'd stay until I had answers for my family myself.
And one more thing, just before you go. Food for thought. The reason I don't believe she hates her mom is because she ran with her. And not only that, if you hated your mom that bad, you would do everything in your power to make sure your children could never look back and feel that way about you.
Yeah,
and look at what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't think she hates her mom because she's with her mom. Does she fight with her mom? A lot of people fight and still love their parents. Some parents have that relationship where they fight with their kids.
At the end of the day, we know our parents, no matter what we do, even if we commit murder, our parents are still going to love us. Look at Seven Stones, Maddie Soto.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's a weird one. Yeah, you're right.
Ooh, no. All right, well, I'll let you. I won't take it up time.
All right, peace.
Thank you.
All right, she came in hot. She came in hot, didn't she? She's on fire. She was running like 120 miles an hour through the. She went right into Gypsy Rose and the damn. I thought she was gonna cover every true crime case out there for a second. I was like, good Lord. I don't know where the Gypsy Rose conversation came from, but hey, she threw a little Gypsy in there. She threw a little Stephen Stearns in there. She didn't mention Brian Kohlberger. Court tomorrow for Brian Kohlberger, right? Listen, this is a little off topic, but the family for the Idaho 4 are going crazy over this Brian Kohlberger accepting this plea deal. And I don't blame him, because everybody was hoping he would get the death penalty. And now he's taking this plea because he's a coward and he don't want to face the death penalty. And here's the thing. This is what a lot of people don't know. Even though you would take a plea, the judge don't have to give it to you. He can take the plea off the table and he would still have to go to trial. He would still face the death penalty. Now, usually when you make a deal with the prosecution, all right, you got to remember the judge and the prosecutor work together. They buddies, they golf together, right? They're going to accept the deal. So 99.9% chance that they are going to take the deal for Brian Kohlberger, because it saves the state millions of dollars on bringing him to trial. Okay. So they rather leave him alive, save the money, save the media circus, right? But the family, they know with no awareness, all of them have to be there tomorrow morning for court. All right, so Brian can accept his plea deal. You know, they'll bring him in front of the judge. The judge will ask him, did anybody force you to take this deal? Blah, blah, blah. But if the judge don't like the deal, he can deny it. So I'm sure the family's going to be in there speaking tomorrow, saying that they don't want him to get this deal, that it's not fair to the 4 people that he murdered. Now, I can see if he killed one person and took a deal, but he killed 4 innocent young college kids that had bright futures. And I don't think he deserves a deal. I believe he deserves to die by a firing squad or what, lethal injection, or however they decide in Idaho to, you know, capital punishment. This is a slap in the face to their families, right? It's just a slap in the face to the families, and prayers to all 4 of them and their families. And is this really justice? You have to ask yourself that. And I know to the families of the Idaho 4, this is not justice. Will there be cameras in the courtroom? Yes. And I would broadcast it for you guys tomorrow, but I gotta meet with an accountant tomorrow, right? So I gotta be there, and then I gotta take Wrangler to the vet. So I got 2 appointments tomorrow. So I'm not going to be able to stream it for you guys. Just know that I'm there with you on my phone, like watching and praying for a good outcome for the family. I pray to God that the judge denies this plea deal. He has the right to do it. The judge can say, I don't accept it, throw the plea out. The odds of that happening are super slim. Super, super, super slim. I have seen it happen, though. I have seen it happen in court.
Dolly, you're fired. I gored better IDPJ. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
All right, Jay, welcome to the train. Okay, at least if you're going to say something slick, at least you paid me to say it. Okay. If you want to say something smart ass to me, it costs you $2.99. Okay, $1.99. But I have seen it in court. I've seen somebody take a plea deal and the judge said no, because it was somebody that wasn't going to get no jail time, and the judge said, I absolutely do not accept it. You can take a plea, but the plea is going to have to include this person going to jail. And then they go out and they rewrite the plea deal. Now, I don't know if something like that's going to happen in the Brian Kohlberger trial. Like I said, because to bring him to trial is millions of dollars. and they usually offer these deals to save that money, to save the trial, and where they don't have to do the trial. But basically, he was going to do life in prison anyway. Okay, we know that. And his deal is him taking life in prison without the possibility of parole. And he can't appeal it. So once it's done tomorrow, it's over. He's in prison for the rest of his life, no matter what, never to get out. But is that really good enough? Right? Not to me. Not to me. Live right here. Sage just posted a link for it tomorrow. And like I said, if I could be here to stream it with you guys, I definitely would. But I definitely got to get some tax stuff worked out. So I'm going to be there at that meeting tomorrow. And I got to be at the vet at 3:45 with Wrangler so he can get a booster shot. Okay. The damn vet's expensive too. That French Bulldog is an expensive ass dog. His last vet bill was $700. And all they gave him was some allergy medicine and some heartworm pills. And that shit was $700. Oh, and they cut his nails. They cut his nails too. So he got his nails, some allergy meds, and the vet was kind of weird too, right? This is no lie. This is what the vet said to me. So she was going over the prices, you know, oh, the bill's going to be $700. And I said, because PJ told me to get it no matter what. It was PJ's money, right? And I said, oh, that's fine. And she's like, oh, it is? Then I'll add some more stuff to it then. And I was like, what? Hold up, lady. I was like, what? I'll add some more stuff to it then. Like, who the hell said $700? She had, like, to me, $700 wasn't a lot of money because I said, yeah, go ahead. You know, I guess I said it too quick because PJ had already told me, she said, make sure he gets what he needs no matter what it is. I'm going to pay for it on my credit card. So it wasn't my money. But when I said it, she said, oh, I'll add some other stuff to it then. And I was like, the hell if you will, right? Grizzly's True Crime will be live with Kohlberger trial in the morning. Y'all definitely go check out Grizzly's True Crime. Grizzly does a great job. Like, no drama, straight true crime. There's a few channels that I really respect up here, you know, that I go to for stuff. And that's Grizzly, sometimes Plunder, that don't do drama. Now, me, every now and then I'll throw a little drama in there. You know, I'll take a jab at another YouTube creator. They never do. And I respect that because I'm more true crime than I am crama. But every now and then I'll chop a crama person in the neck if I need to, like if they talking stupid. And they don't do that. They just avoid it all and stick with straight true crime. So I respect that. And I watch both of those channels, Grizzly and Plunder. So best of luck to those women. They do a great job. They're real deal. You know, they ain't a bunch of fake ass, you know, in it for clicks and views. It's who they are, you know, and I appreciate that. What about Diddy? Who the hell cares about Diddy? People watch that stuff. I hope he goes to prison. Me, myself, you know, one, he never invited me to none of them baby oil parties. And I don't like that he hurts little boys. You know, I just don't. I think he's a predator. And I mean, I don't care that he's sleeping with grown men, but you ain't had to mess with Justin Bieber. I like Biebs. Okay. Like, you done messed that boy head up. And I think he should pay for the next 25, 30 years for what he did to Justin Bieber. Like, you say P. Diddy around Justin Bieber, and that bitch gets shook. He's like it traumatized him. And I don't blame it. Like, these grown men messing with little kids, they got a place for you. It's called prison. And I ain't even talking about all the people he shot or all the people he extorted or the women that he abused. I'm talking about he needs to be in prison just for what he's done to these kids. Justin Bieber's mom should be in jail too. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's hard to say, because you want what's best for your kid, and nobody back then really knew that P Diddy was a predator. Okay, that's the best. I mean, that's the only way to say it. They didn't really know. I knew he was a bad person because I followed Biggie, because I was a huge Biggie Smalls fan. East Coast, Biggie Smalls, Big Papa, right? And all the shootings that took place and all the stuff that P Diddy was involved way back in the day, he should have been in prison a long time ago. He should have never reached the level that he reached. And there was a lot of, let's just say this, a lot of man-on-man activity going on in that situation. And it was weird. It was absolutely weird. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your preference, that's your preference, right? But you don't have to throw kids in there. As soon as you start messing with the kids, dude, you are weird. Okay, I don't care if you sleep with whatever other man you sleep with. That's perfectly fine, right? That's two consenting adults doing whatever they want to do. But when you start throwing in 15, 14-year-old kids into the parties, and you even inviting a 14, 15-year-old kid to a party where there's adult things going on, something is wrong with you, right? And can you rehabilitate somebody like that? I don't know. I'd say lock his ass up. He lucky I ain't on the jury, right? I'd have been guilty. Now, I heard they came to a partial verdict. I think the jury will come back with something tomorrow. She already got 30 million. Well, I mean, I don't know. Listen, we live in a world where people buy their freedom. That dude is worth a lot of money. I'll be surprised if he even goes to jail. I mean, I know he's in jail right now, but I'll be surprised if he goes to prison for a long time. And then, the stuff he said, get rid of the pizza boxes, make sure you get rid of the plastic, get rid of everything. I mean, right from jail, he said that shit. And now anybody knows get rid of the pizza boxes code for get rid of some stuff. And we remember that controversy that went on about, I don't even want to say it because I don't even like talking about it here. That conspiracy end of what that referred to, right? A lot of you guys know, we'll leave it alone. We won't go deep into that. But when he said get rid of those pizza boxes, I was like, yep. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. Just sitting here watching your show.
Awesome. Who's this? Where you calling from?
It's AGM 88.
Hey, 88. What does the AGM stand for? If you want to share.
AGM 88 is actually the name of a missile that they usually use. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the AGM 88 Harm, and my name is Harm. So.
Oh, okay. So your screen name is named after a missile.
Yeah, and me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just want to get on track here with the missing the kids here.
Uh-huh.
And Malaya.
Yes.
I just think that there's a lot of. It just reminds me a lot of the Quentin Simon, and how we were wondering why Leilani wasn't getting charged with neglect and all this other stuff, even though we knew that she had problems with CPS.
Uh-huh.
So I just feel like they're building a case against the parents, and eventually there will be.
I'm hoping so, for sure.
Yeah. But I just don't think they have enough evidence to do anything yet. And then
I had somebody hit me up a few days ago that worked in law enforcement for the last 20 years in Canada. And he said that his sources are telling him that they're building a case. But I don't know how true that is. That's hearsay. But that's what the person told me. They said, I've been in law enforcement for 20 years, and I still got friends on the force, and they're saying that they're building a case against the parents.
Yeah, because it looks that way to me, too. And it just reminds me of how long it took for them to arrest Leilani. And when they did, they just charged they just pinned all of it on her at once.
Yeah, they waited till they found Quentin's remains. I think it was right before Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, that they arrested her.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've looked in the landfills for these children, but I think I said this before, that they should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah,
if they haven't already.
I was watching today on the news, and they found a young man that's been missing for a long time here in the States, and they were searching a landfill today, and they found part of his remains. So I think his name was Manny. Manny, I forget his last name, but he had been missing for a while, and they just found partial his remains in a landfill today. And it was live on YouTube as they were searching the landfill.
Well, that's bittersweet, at least kind of know what's going on. But
yeah, I mean,
wow,
it sucks. It sucks, but it's better than to have closure and to know, because the parents really already know that the kids, most likely not with us, and he ain't coming back. But that you be able to bury him and have that closure. It'll never. Yes, Manny in Minnesota, he was 16. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So to have that closure for the family is also a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think it's going to be similar to the Leilani storyline there.
That still to this day gives me nightmares.
Yeah, it does. And I agree. And I just, there's too many similarities, and these missing, the mothers of these children that seem guilty, they say the same things. Oh, I wish I had them in their beds, and I wish I could hold them. And it's all the same. It's all the same. So it just seems fishy. But I want to change topics real quick before I let you go.
Okay.
I want to say that my daughter is 12 years old and 13 now. And she and I just went to the Stray Kids concert in Toronto. And it was really, really, really good. And I listen to all the same stuff that you listen to, that heavy metal. And I've been to a lot of concerts before, and I have to say, top 5.
So you did the K-pop, huh?
The K-pop, I've never been to a pop concert ever in my life. I've seen Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Iron Maiden.
So was that?
But yeah, top 5.
That was your top 5? Was a K-pop show?
Yeah, honestly, it was so much energy from the beginning to the end, because they're a boy band. But the crowd was really, really eclectic, and you saw everyone young and old and from every single walk of life. And it was just a really good vibe, and everybody was super energized.
Yeah,
great show.
My daughter wants me to go to one of those shows at the end of September. She hit me up about it just the other day, and she's like, I need somebody to be with me.
Go for it. I highly recommend.
The tickets were $600 a piece, though, and I'm like, I don't even listen to K-pop. Why would I want to pay $600 to see a boy band?
They're worth it, trust me. And they sing like all sorts of different languages too. It's not just Korean. It's like Japanese, Chinese, English, and so it's fun.
Okay, I may have to check it out. I ain't gonna promise or nothing, but I am gonna go with her, so she has somebody to travel with and go up there with. But I don't know if I'm gonna go with her physically to the concert or not.
Well, I would highly recommend the concert.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just for the energy and the vibe, and they do have some good tunes. It's not that bad.
At the price of their tickets, I mean, good Lord. I mean, it's insane.
I think with the show that they put on here in Toronto, it was worth it for me. I thought it was expensive too, and I was really like humming and hawing about taking her. And I don't know, we're from a small town, and going to Toronto was a big deal for us, right? So I just didn't want to do it for somebody I didn't like, but it was worth it for me, and I really
that's all.
And
it makes good memories.
I think you should go.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think you should do the same thing with your daughter. I think it'll be great.
Okay. You be good.
Okay. You be good.
All right,
bye.
peace. My thing is this. Okay. Tiff loves K-pop, right? My daughter. And I'm good with kicking her a few bucks to get her a ticket. I just don't know if, and she's traveling. Matter of fact, she's flying to Florida just here in a little bit to go see another K-pop band. Right. So she saves her money. Tiff's real good. She works constantly. Like, she's a hard worker. So she saves all her money. She pays her bills. And then every other penny she has, she spends on K-pop, right? It's just what she likes. Like even when I was young, Tip's age, I did the same thing, but I listened to like Metallica, Slayer, you know, different stuff, and a mixture of rap, DMX, Limp Bizkit. So I mean, I used to always go to different concerts too when I was young. So we're real similar in that. I spent all my money on shirts and Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, this is Miss CC502.
Hey, Miss CC, what's good with you?
Nothing. I was listening to your lives throughout the day at work. And you know, with my autism, one thing I have the ability to do is to look at the fine lines and the fine details. And I had Googled the case on Google just to see, you know, what pops up, because I did the same thing with Sebastian and Okay, a month ago, according to the Canada police, they said they believe that the kids were not abducted and they're going to stand by that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and I watched Daniel's interview.
Mm-hmm.
And then I paid attention to what he was saying in your live. That one time that he was on your live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I have the biggest suspicion that he did something she knows and she ran because she's scared of him.
Yeah, but why not tell? How scared could you be? I mean, you're away from them now. The police are involved. Why not whisper it to the police? And next thing you know, he'd be in jail and you wouldn't have to be scared of him.
That's what I don't understand.
Or unless she's scared of his family.
She might be.
You know? And then, well, if they get me, my brother's going to get you kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it could be something like that. I mean, I don't know, but I kind of lean towards, I think they're both involved to a certain level. And
yeah, to a certain level, yeah, but I think he is involved in the action. Does that make any sense?
I don't know. I mean, I truly don't know. I have my suspicions, but I don't really know which one did what.
If you listen to the small details of what he's saying, he's kind of like telling on himself.
When he said the thing about the hoodie, the sweatshirts, and I hope they ain't found with the sweatshirts, to me, it almost sounded like he was confessing that these kids were dead wrapped up in sweatshirts.
That was one clue I had, and then the second clue was the piece of blanket, and then I'm finding the rest of the blanket. Okay, that lets me know they're close.
The blanket's just weird. Like, it seems like it was planted.
Exactly, to make it look like maybe they wandered off and
into the woods. Yeah.
I am like really interested in this case because I'm like, how does nobody see these fine lines of what he's saying?
I don't know, but it's definitely inconsistencies because he wasn't saying this in the beginning. Why wasn't he telling the police this?
And her being so quiet is suspicious to me too.
That's a big red flag. Huge.
No mother go quiet except for Maddie Soto.
Yeah, she went just as ghost as Maddie Soto for sure. We still ain't heard nothing from from Jen Soto.
She supposedly signed herself into a mental institution.
That was a while back. She was staying with her sister. I think that was all internet rumor. She was living with her sister.
Because just like with Maddie Soto, the mom knew.
Oh, her mom definitely knew.
Her boyfriend is the one that proceeded with the action.
Yeah.
And I think Jen Soto got scared, and that's why she was so quiet. So I'm putting two and two together with this case, and I'm like, okay, the mom's being seriously quiet. And then the boyfriend or the father or whatever you want to call him is doing all the talking, just like Stefan Stern was.
Mm-hmm. Something's going on. Something strange with a whole lot of change. I guess time will tell. Hopefully, we're not sitting here talking about this 6 months from now. And I just got this bad feeling. I just got this bad feeling. Like even all these people that believe they're on the Indian reservation. I said, well, how long, do we got to go before you realize they ain't on the Indian reservation? 6 months. And most people are like, yeah, 6 months from now, we'll agree with you, Dolly. But
I had looked into that too. And
it's already been 2.
Yeah. I looked into that too. Because, my family's part Indian as well. Even if you're on an Indian reservation, they're still going to communicate with the police, and the police is going to know that the kids are there, but they can't physically get to them.
Yeah. Well, in Canada, everybody said the RCMP can go right up on the res.
Yeah,
but
they can't remove the kids.
Well, they'll have their reservation people with them. I'm sure they'll communicate and they'll go together. Their law enforcement and regular law enforcement go up in there together and do whatever they got to do. So
there's no way they're on a reservation.
I
rule that out completely.
Yeah, I rule that out too. I know there's a lot of people that think that, and I know 6 months from now they'll think differently. So
I'm gonna say this because I know he watches, and I'm gonna see how quiet he gets. We're watching him.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got my eyes on everybody. Everybody's a suspect until there's some answers for these children.
Yeah. Everything he says, every move he makes is gonna tell the story.
And her.
He's not
and her. Like, she thinks she's living her best life, but it's this is the calm before the storm for Malaya. It's coming. She needs to know that it's coming. The storm is coming. It's just sitting off. It's just sitting off the coast, getting stronger, and then it's coming to blow your house down.
Because Canada police, they work a little different. I have a friend in Ottawa, and they said that they're pretty serious about their children when it comes to like missing children and abducted children and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they're digging deep.
Yeah. Okay, CC. I appreciate you calling. You be good.
Thank you, Dolly.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Okay, guys. I'm not too long from getting out of here, but I want to mention something to you. This is totally off topic. If you want to see a really good documentary on Netflix, all right, this is the one. Shark Whisperer. Has anybody seen that yet? Anybody seen Shark Whisperer? Anybody in chat? Press 1 if you've seen it. It's on Netflix now. It's new on Netflix. So I watched it last night when I got off with you guys. I sat back and watched the Shark Whisperer, and it is such a good documentary. It is such a good documentary. It's pretty much Shark Whisperer. You haven't seen it? It's about that girl Osha, and she basically swims with sharks. And when I say swims with them, I mean she swims right up to them, like hangs on their fin, and like she's like a shark whisperer, like great white sharks. She swam up to the largest 20-foot shark, great white shark ever recorded in Hawaii, and like petted it. Anybody seen this girl? She's on like TikTok. She's on Me Loved It, Dolly. It's good. And she met her husband. He was a photographer that did surf competitions, and then they started free diving, and then they started trying to help sharks, right? Because everybody thinks great white monster, going to eat you, and there's it's rare, believe it or not, to get attacked by a shark. It happens, but it's actually kind of rare. And considering how many people are in the ocean with sharks every day, but she basically she goes out and they clean off the sharks and they swim with the sharks, and I'm talking vicious bull sharks. Like she will let the shark swim right up to her and she'll pet it on the face. In the ocean. I ain't talking about in a tank. I ain't talking about tame sharks. I'm talking about in the middle of the ocean. She'll jump out, swim up to a shark, and start petting it and shit. I'm like, that is the craziest woman ever, right? Yeah, so if you get a chance, it's a pretty good documentary series. Well, it's not a series. It's one show. It's like an hour and a half. The Shark Whisperer is hot. She is a pretty girl. She is definitely a pretty girl. And I think that's what the sharks like. They're like, who's this blonde? You know what I'm saying? And they don't eat her. If it was my ugly ass, I would be lunch, right? But no, she's had a way of communicating with the sharks. Like when she wants the sharks to come close to her, she balls up in a little ball and the sharks will come right up on her. And then when she wants a little room from the shark, she spreads her body way out and the shark will back up a little bit. It is the craziest thing to watch because you're just thinking, man, she's going to get eaten any minute, right? And she don't. And she's changed the laws in Hawaii to where you can't kill sharks, right? For no reason. You got to have a reason to kill it, right? You can't just kill a shark. It's against the law in Hawaii. And she's you know, she goes to China where they're making all this shark fin soup. And she's trying to save the sharks because they're going extinct. People are killing so many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of sharks every year. And the sharks are not repopulating fast enough. So
1.6K here, pleasers warn everyone 4th July. If you see something, say something.
If you see something, say something. Absolutely. And basically she ends the documentary. I don't want to spoil it for you, but she says, listen, if the sharks ever eat me, don't be mad at the sharks. And I was just thinking, and in the show, she said, I'm happy with my life I lived. It ain't how much life you live, it's the life that you live, right? Is what she says. And if she dies, she's fine with it, right? But she wants to bring awareness that sharks ain't monsters and don't hurt them if you see them out in the wild, fishermen and things like that, because they're not a bigger threat to you as you think they are. So, and it's just crazy to watch. Like when you see it, you'll be like, no way. I was watching it like, this guy's to be the bravest woman on the planet. I mean, swims right up to a great white shark. Like, she must have never seen the movie Jaws, right? And just is petting the shark like just a random great white shark. And the images of her swimming with him, it's just like unbelievable. It's just like, wow. So you get a chance. That's my pick for this week. Netflix. I'm gonna start giving y'all what's up, Elevated Truth? I'm gonna give y'all one pick to watch each week, movie. And this one is Shark Whisperer
Thank you for
on Netflix.
Missing the missing out there and not forgotten.
No problem, Joanne. Good to see you, Elevated Truth. We're just probably about a week or so from kicking off the next season of Turtle Island. Okay, there's sharks in the water on Turtle Island, but my sharks are deadly. They're a little more deadly this year. There's going to be some twists and turns, a little bit of game playing inside the game this season. So there's some new twists, and if it's the same game, it ain't that fun. But we're adding some curveballs to this season of Turtle Island, and it'll probably start the picks to who's going to go on the island. I'll probably start sometime next week. Okay. And one other cool thing that happened to me today, PJ got me something for my birthday, right? Because my birthday's coming up. For anybody that knows me, my biggest thing is horror movies. Elevated Truth got me the hockey jersey, right? The mask. But she got me a meet and greet with Art the Clown. Okay. He's going to be in full costume. I get the whole photo shoot with him and an autograph 8x10 that I'm going to blow up into a poster and put on my wall in my living room. So I'll get to meet Art the Clown, which is cool, right? Anybody know who Art the Clown is? Terrifier. All right. It's like a B-flick horror movie, but it's like a gore movie, but I love horror movies. So my pick for this week is Shark Whisperer on Netflix. And the new Squid Games is out. I don't know how many people like Squid Games, but I watched the end of it. It made me cry. I was like, right? Squid Games were good. Sad ending to Squid Games. I ain't going to tell you because I don't want to ruin it for anybody that watches Squid Games. But the new season of Squid Games is out. I watched all of it. Good. But Shark Whisperer is my pick for the week. So check it out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Be good. Stay safe. Dolly loves you. Peace.